Dribble tapos hataw, hiya parang lindol. Buster Peter ni Idol, halos di makahinga. Sa talbog ng bola, ang puso ay nadadala. Sino ang magiging bida? Solid ang laban, malupit ang galawan. Solid ang fans, malakas ang hiyawan. Ang aksyon ay walang hinto. Sa solid na laro, solid ang laban, malupit ang galawan.
Welcome to the Big Dome for your PBA Season 50 Philippine Cup here on Pilipinas Live and on PBA Rush. Two teams with contrasting fortunes here at the start of the Philippine Cup, and it's not the way that some people expected it to be. But will things change? We'll find out soon enough. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Blackwater Bossing taking on the Meralco Bolts as we take a look at our story here today. Fall meets fire. And we are all excited to be here for you with all of this. Of course, I'm Paulo Del Rosario alongside Coach Jude Roque. Joining us here today, of course, is Bea Escudero on the sideline. Coach Jude, great to have you back with us.
Thank you so much.
Your first game back for Season 15.
Yes, for this season, yes.
All right, so let's take a look at the matchup that we have here. Of course, the Blackwater Bossing off to a great start, but on the other hand, a surprising turn of results so far for the Meralco Bolts.
Yes, Meralco has struggled. They lost to Titan and then to Rain or Shine in a heartbreaker.
Yeah.
A game that they controlled for most of the entire game. However, they struggled in that fourth quarter.
Well, the struggle was real for them, of course, and when we take a look at what happened to the Blackwater Bossing, you know what? They look like a completely different side when you take a look at Blackwater and the way that they have been performing. As you take a look at the standings here, I know it's only just one win here so far, but take a look at the two teams with two losses here, Coach. Meralco Bolts and the San Miguel Beermen, finalists in recent years dito sa Philippine Cup.
Yes, that's right. No, they started on the wrong foot. On the other hand, teams that struggled from the previous season had a great start, and one of them, of course, is the team that will face Meralco after an excellent win last time.
And of course, we can take a look at the last game for the Meralco Bolts against the Rain or Shine Alaska Painters. Again, it was a 96-95 result in favor of Rain or Shine. And the biggest story here, Coach, as we take a look at the biggest lead here, 16 points, biggest lead of the Meralco Bolts. And of course, they actually had the lead in around the last 20 seconds or so, but still let it go.
Yes, two big shots by Rain or Shine in the final few moments of that game doomed Meralco, and they held Meralco to only 5 points in overtime. So that was really a great comeback for Rain or Shine to upset the Meralco Bolts.
And of course, this guy here, Bong Quinto, did everything that he could to tow the Meralco Bolts in that last game. Unfortunately, fell short. The downside of his game, Coach, is if you take a look at what Bong Quinto did not do, it was really the fourth quarter scoring and overtime scoring left scoreless in those particular departments, Coach.
Yes, Bong Quinto, of course, one of the veterans in the team. He had a great double-double performance. He was brilliant for most of the game. 18 points, 10 rebounds on 6 of 16 from the field. However, in the fourth quarter and in overtime, he got shut down by the Rain or Shine team. And there you can see amazing numbers for Bong Quinto. However, in overtime, he wasn't able to help his team get that victory.
Well, definitely left short there, but let's take a look at a guy who has improved with consistency here in this particular season. CJ Cancino making the most of the last postseason and changing his body and becoming a more reliable contributor to the Meralco Bolts.
Yes, CJ Cancino, of course, we've known him to be an excellent scorer when he was in college, and now we're seeing that. He's improving by the game. He's improving every conference. And in that game versus Rain or Shine, he was excellent with 18 points. He also had 22 versus Titan Ultra. So we're seeing more consistency from CJ Cancino in terms of scoring.
We're seeing more consistency in terms of scoring, even rebounding, Coach. Take a look at that, 9 and 8 in the last two. Of course, Chris Newsome, on the other hand, I had a chance to talk to him earlier on the day, and he says that shooting numbers in terms of percentages have not been there. He's been given the ball in late shot clock situations, and that always has been difficult for him when he's dealing with a quote-unquote grenade. But Coach, here's a guy that needs to step up in terms of his production.
Well, Chris Newsom, he will step up anytime. Right now, at the start of the season, he's struggling a little bit. His numbers are down from his usual averages. Even his shooting percentage was quite poor, no, against rain or shine, only 23%. Definitely, Newsom needs to do more in order to get that W for the Meralco Bolts.
Of course, it needs to do more with regard to that. And of course, for more on the Bolts, it's turned over to our courtside reporter, Bea Escudero. Bea, take it away.
Pal, the Meralco Bolts continue their search for that first win of the conference. Assistant coach Sandro Soriano admitted that their loss to rain or shine came down to one major factor, and that was the team's energy. He shared that the team struggled to sustain their intensity, especially after being limited to just 9 points in the fourth quarter. Now, heading into their matchup against Blackwater, the message was clear: to return to their identity. For the Bolts, everything begins with their defense. And as Coach Sandro put it, when we rely on our defense, our offense will follow. And with that, the team was reminded to stay sharp. For the guards, it's about controlling Blackwater's scores, while the big men focus on winning the battle on the boards against a fast and agile front court. Paul and Coach Jude, back to you guys.
Thanks so much for that report. That was Bea Escudero. Interesting that she mentioned the big men being a big factor for the Meralco Bolts against a Blackwater Bossing team who, as a unit, has improved more and more. Coach Jude, let's take a look at the Blackwater Bossing in their last game against the Barefield Jeep, wherein we mentioned the reboundings. Reboundings was a big factor in favor of the Blackwater Bossing.
Rebounding was certainly one of the key factors in that big win versus Terra Firma. Very impressive 20-point victory for Coach Jeffrey Carriazo, and you can see even in the offensive boards, they dominated Terra Firma. They also had a lot of second chance points, and this was key to that big victory.
Of course, very much key is also the performances of their big man in terms of the scoring department. Let's take a look at Christian David, or CD. Coach, CD, Christian David, has been one of those guys who we all knew had that potential to be a knockdown scorer here in the PBA. Last time around, 24 points of 47% from the field. You gotta say that we're gonna be hoping he stays this consistent as the games go on.
Well, definitely he stepped up, no, in the absence of their top scorer from last season, top local scorer said Barefield, and he definitely did a lot more for his team with his top scoring 24 points in an impressive 47% field goal shooting. He also added 7 boards. And more importantly, it was his strong start that led to this victory with 14 points in the opening period.
Well, he's going to be hoping for a strong start again this time around. They're going to need it against a Meralco team that has been desperate. But of course, you also have to take a look at the Spitfire, RK Ilagan, who not only put the numbers up in terms of scoring on the board, but Coach, it's so impressive that one of the smallest guys has an incredible double-digit rebounding performance against a Terra Firma team who would have been able to handle his size.
Yes, RK Ilagan always plays big. He plays with a big heart, no, despite his small size, and he showed that again against Terra Firma with an impressive 22 points, 10 rebounds performance. Add to that 3 assists and 4 steals on 2 of 3 shooting from behind the 3-point line.
Of course, RK Ilagan trying to do what he can to tow this team forward for sure. And of course, we're also going to see some reinforcements come in here for the Blackwater Bossing. But for more on them first, let's turn it over to Bea Escudero. Bea.
Paulo and Coach Jude, coming off their opening win against the Terra Firma Jeep, Coach Jeff Carriazo expressed both pride and relief. Proud to see how their players were able to stay true to their game plan, and of course, relieved to see them respond to every adjustment, especially without the likes of Cedric Barefield. Now, as he put it, this is exactly what we aim to be, a group that embraces its roles, steps up every quarter, and doesn't rely on one person to make things happen. Well, now that they face Meralco, Coach Jeff called for the same mindset, knowing that this matchup will test their chemistry even more. The focus today will be placed on crashing the boards despite the high disparity and sharing the ball to boost their assist numbers. It's all about doubling the effort against a team that is hungry for redemption. Gentlemen, back to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that report. That was Bea Escudero with that for the Blackwater Bossing. Of course, we're going to have to take a look as well at some of the other contributors for the Blackwater Bossing team, because it really was a team win last time around against the Terra Firma Jeep. But with all due respect to Terra Firma, the Meralco Bolts are coming into this one feeling that they should win the contest. Let's take a look at the referees here today. Mr. Flor de Liza will lead this refereeing crew. Mike Flor de Liza, and of course, there are the rest of our officials here today. We'll get a chance to hear from them later on via the challenges. It'll be the first time my partner, Coach Jude, will see it later on as well. So I'm sure that's going to be a real treat for everyone as we are getting ready to start things off here at the Big Dome in Cubao. Once again, if you're just joining us, welcome to Smart Araneta Coliseum. This is your PBA Season 50 Philippine Cup on Pilipinas Live and on PBA Rush. I'm Paolo De Rosario alongside Coach Jude Roque. Be Escudero joins us on the sidelines. This is the Meralco Bolts taking on the Blackwater Bossing in a fall meets fire matchup. The Meralco Bolts 0-2 to start out the Philippine Cup, while the Blackwater Bossing looking to build on a big win against Barefield and their 1-0 start here this conference. We're going to find out together whether or not that was a flash on the pan or if the Meralco Bolts free fall will continue. So many storylines here, and we are so happy to bring that all here for you. If you're just joining us, make sure you go and check out our poll on Pilipinas Live as well as we turn it over to the venue announcer.
Fans, we are live inside the Smart Araneta Coliseum, and this is the Philippine Cup of your PBA 50. Our first game for today features the Meralco Bolts versus the Blackwater Bossing. Let us now meet the starters first for the Meralco Bolts. Point guard is the 5th overall pick in the 2014 draft from Santa Maria Isabela, number 6, Chris Banquero. Shooting guard from Valenzuela City, number 71, CJ Cancino. Small forward is the 14th overall pick in the 2018 draft from Quezon City, number 19, Bong Quinto. Power forward is the 14th season's Defensive Player of the Year from Cavite City, number 7, Cliff Hodge. And at center, it's the 8th overall pick in the 48th season draft from Pasig City, number 33, Brandon Bates. Coaching the Bolts is Luigi Trillo. It is time to meet the starters for the Blackwater Bossing. Point guard from Tondo, Manila, number 16, RK Ilagan. Shooting guard is the 3rd overall pick this season from Mabini, Batangas, number 9, Dal Panopio. Small forward is the 2nd overall pick in the 48th season draft from City of San Fernando, Pampanga, number 25, Christian David. Power forward from Siniloan, Laguna, number 1, Abu Trotter. And at center from Cebu, number 13, Clifford Hopia. Coaching the Bossing is Jeff Carriazo. Game officials are...
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your PBA. This is take a look at the starting lineups here for your Meralco Bolts. Brandon Bates mans the middle, Cliff Hodge, Bong Quinto, CJ Cancino, and Chris Banquero start off here for Coach Luigi Trillo. On the other hand, Coach Jeff Carriazo starts off with the rookie, Dal Panopio, RK Ilaga, Clifford Hopia, Abu Trotter joining in as well. Interesting start here. Christian David trying to build on that big game as we get things going here. Meralco Bolts wins the opening tip. Hello, I'm Paolo De Rosario, alongside Coach Jude Roque. Be Escudero on the sidelines for us, Coach. We take a look at the first attack here for the Blackwater Bossing. Bong Quinto trying to, finally get his scoring going. Did not get going in the last game, 4th quarter, overtime period. Unfortunately for him, scoreless. What do Meralco need to do here? Because an 0-2 slide, and not very familiar territory for them.
Surely, no, after being the Philippine Cup champions just 2 seasons ago, this is a surprising start for the Meralco Bolts. And, well, they just need, of course, they are facing a lot of challenges now. They have a very busy schedule, and probably they're a bit tired, but they need to just regroup and maybe involve more of the bench players so that they can preserve their key players in the end. In that game against Rain or Shine, they played well for 3 quarters, but they seem to have lost steam in that 4th quarter.
Well, you know what, Coach, I had a chance to talk with the Meralco Bolts, particularly Chris Newsom, about that schedule. Because they are playing, I believe, 4 games in at least a week. And they're also going to fly out for their continental competition duties. And I asked him, how do you do with the schedule? He says, just don't look at it. You won't feel as tired. As, of course, the Blackwater Bossing trying to have a free-flow possession to start things off. Great defense by Brandon Bates. He has been such a great stopper here. He's developing into one as Chris Banquero couldn't score, but Bates has it again. Offensive rebound, second chance opportunity, and a chance to get 2 from the line.
Great challenge by Brandon Bates that time. Definitely, they don't want Christian David to get those open looks because he's very dangerous, especially from mid-range, and that led to this transition opportunity and 2 free throws for Bates.
Of course, Brandon Bates, known as someone who has great verticality in terms of his length, able to become a threat defensively, and he's also known for his very short shorts. Probably the shortest in the league at the moment, considering his height.
Yes, but Brandon has really been one of the key players, one of the top big men here in the PBA. He has helped the Bolts win that Philippine Cup two seasons ago. And he's improving also in this league.
What I really like about the way that Brandon Bates has grown as a player is the fact that, he has become a reliable, he's not just a defender, he's become a reliable player even on the offensive end here with the Meralco Bolts.
He's able to finish under the basket, which is very important. And then definitely he is a force to reckon with defensively.
Well, here's the Blackwater Bossing now going the other way. Still looking for the first points. Here's Del Panopio trying to work on Banquero. Finding a way in. Off the glass, no good. Banquero's on the run, going the other way. Good break here. Cancino with a tidy finish.
That's 2 straight successful transition attempts for Meralco. And this is a good sign for them.
Great sign for them here as we take a look at Cancino sailing in for 2 easy baskets. 6-0 start with around a minute 35 played here in the first quarter. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Malupit ang galaw, solid ang pas, malakas ang hiyawan, ang action ay walang hinto. Sa solid na laro.
Okay, all right, move the ball a little bit more down, okay? Let guys get into the spots, okay? All right? That one time Quinto got it here, right? Cliff, you should have been here. Okay, so this is casino, so you have to stay home, right? We're like this. Okay, all right? We know where he is. Attack. We might have to bomb, play from there. Okay? All right?
Lalo pag nasa 3 points si Bates. Hayaan mo si Bates sa 3 points.
All right, okay. Go to open. Go to open. Baba ka na Cliff. Abu, you're the one on top. Okay, run open. Run your own.
Well, let's take a look at the tournament format here for your PBA Season 50 Philippine Cup. Single round robin elimination, 11 games per team. So the top 8 teams after the elims will advance to quarterfinals. No tiebreakers. We'll have a quotient system. Top 4 teams will have a twice-to-beat advantage in quarterfinals. And of course, best of 7 for the semis and the finals. Just to clarify here, Coach, some people are always wondering, anong ibig sabihin ng quotient system? What does that mean? And does that mean that teams will try to score no matter what towards the end?
It's very important, of course, to get a big winning margin. No? That's where the quotient system is based on. This is the reason why, even when it's a clear win already, you don't stop playing until the final buzzer because you want to get that high quotient.
Well, let's take a look at this stifling defense from the Meralco Bolts, forcing Christian David into an uncomfortable look, unable to get it to fall. And we have to talk about the defense here at the Meralco Bolts, Coach, because they have been locked on here in the first minutes.
Yes, certainly they focused their defense on Christian David, the top scorer last time. You can see all his attempts so far in this game have been tough shots. And this is a result of that defense.
Cliff Hodge getting the basket there for the Meralco Bolts as Abu Trator takes a spill. And it looks like the ball will just go the other way. Abu Trator had a great game last time around. Let's see if he can follow that up here.
But that's another great defense by the Bolts, forcing the turnover. They're really communicating well. They are in sync in terms of their team defense so far.
Well, right now, it isn't really that the Grim has a lid here for the Blackwater Bossing, but then the Meralco Bolts have just been playing sound, honest defense. Here's Brandon Bates attacking Abu Tratter. Great defense there from Abu.
Yes, would have been a beautiful play there if only Brandon was able to finish that layup.
Here's RK Ilagan. Again, Spitfire last time around. RK on the attack. That's the teeth of the D, forcing the shot up, basket and one.
One ability of RK Ilagan to take on a taller defender, and that worked well for Blackwater.
Let's take a look at that again, Coach. So RK Ilagan, the thing about this guy is that you mentioned it a while ago, he plays big. He doesn't care how short he is in terms of the height. He will attack the defense and find a way to score.
He's a great scorer. And that time, there was no help at all. Meralco opted for a one-on-one defense with CJ Cancino, but RK made them pay for that.
Here is Chris Banquero now, giving to CJ Cancino. Cancino with Panopio in front of him, playing man-to-man D are the Blackwater Bossing. They're not switching anything here. And what a find inside the base. Oh, Chris Banquero. What a maestro.
What a great read by Banquero. He attacked the baseline. He looked at the defensive setup, and he saw that it was free Brandon Bates under the basket.
RK Ilagan, the only scorer here so far for the Blackwater Bossing. You give it to Panopio at the 4-point line. Short shot clock, gotta go. And to get that look in. And you know what? This Blackwater team has size, but at the moment, the bigs are being outplayed by the Meralco Bolts. And this was actually one of the points that we mentioned at the start of the coverage, because of the fact that the Blackwater Bossing actually had great big production in their win against the Terafir Majip, as Brandon Bates, to our point, doing well here early on for the Meralco Bolts.
Well, Meralco is a tough matchup for Blackwater, even if Blackwater has the size, because Meralco is a physical team with also a lot of size. And you're right about Blackwater dominant against Terra Firma, especially with rebounding. But Meralco is also known for their rebounding and their defense.
Well, you know what? This is a team, talking about the Blackwater Bossing, as we take a look at the Bates finish last time around. The Blackwater Bossing needs some scoring. And it is good that this man is coming back on the court. Cedric Barefield, who spent some time away from the court due to injury. As I bring up a little report here sent to us by Ove Escudero, it was a sustained right shoulder tendonitis in a Davao tournament. First game today in 4 months in the PBA, Coach.
That's a very long time for Barefield not to be in action. So let's see how he does in this very first game.
And Bates flipped that up, no good. Ends up with a white shirt. Here's Barefield. Get in on the action here. He is a gifted scorer and a hard cover. So this is actually, he's only had 5-on-5 training. 3 times this week, as Abu Tratter gets a good finish inside and gets hit by Brandon Bates.
Yes, Meralco coaching staff asking for a traveling violation there. It looked like he took extra steps.
Well, let's see what explanation the coaching staff of the Meralco Bolts will get. But right now, by the way, it's 12-7 in favor of the Meralco Bolts still after that basket from Abu Tratter. Let's take a look at that again, Coach. Well, you can see why the complaint was there. I need to see it again, to be quite honest, because I'm not sure about that pivot foot.
Yes, because it was a tough angle. The defender was covering Abu Trato there. We couldn't see. But the execution of Meralco really great. They're looking to score inside. No, they haven't really attempted the outside shots. They're looking to get higher percentage shots.
Here's Cedric Barefield trying a 3-ball. That's good.
First attempt, good for said Barefield, and it's a 3-point shot.
Well, it looks like that shoulder isn't bothering him anymore. And here is Banquero. Barefield fell asleep on defense there, and Cancino couldn't make him pay.
Great backdoor cut by Cancino. He just missed that shot.
RK Ilagan finding Abu Tratter. Tratter trying to go straight into Cliff Hodge, and he just let go of the ball there, the leather.
Second turnover for Abu. This was the 3-point shot from the top from Barefield.
3-point shot is brought to you by Arena Plus Sportsbook. Again, Barefield part of the Rookie of the Year conversation, unable to get the win though he did mention though that he enjoyed the fact that so many players did vote for him in that losing campaign. Here's Quinto finding Almazan. Hodge, what a finish inside.
So again, inside points for Meralco. That's been really their goal, at least in this first quarter. And Blackwater needs to find ways to stop those inside baskets.
6 points, by the way, for Cliff Hodge, as Barefield couldn't make it back-to-back. 16-10. Here's Aaron Black. Bong Quinto. He's capable to hit that 4-ball. Now working on RK Lagat. He's just trying to jab and make him think twice. Oh, what a find inside to Hodge again. And Hodge gets that basket and one.
So again, for the second straight time, Blackwater not seeing their man. No, the first was Cancino cutting baseline, and then this time it was Cliff Hodge. And what a great pass coming from Bong Quinto. Look here, the reverse layup is good, plus the foul.
Again, Cliff Hodge, that's a feisty player. 8 points, leading the charge here. Right now, it is Cliff Hodge 8, Blackwater 10.
Yes, very strong start for Meralco. Of course, being down 0-2 at the start of this season gives you a little bit of urgency, especially with a proud team like the Bolts.
Cliff Hodge gets that one to go. As RK Lagat brings this one down. Aaron Black right in front of him. Couple changes, by the way, here for both these teams. Here's Ilagat. Ilagat wants a 4. Oh, he gets it.
Yes, Aaron Black needs to be a little closer. And all RK Lagan needs is a little bit of space. And that's a 4-point shot for him.
Well, the nice thing about RK Lagan is that if you're of a certain height, you need to be a master of a skill. And his skill is scoring.
He is definitely a scorer, way back.
What a steal here, Coach. Sorry to interrupt you, because here the Blackwater bossing, but couldn't make them pay.
Yes, sorry miss for Troy Malilin, who also had a decent performance against Terra Firma.
That's right, Coach. Troy Malilin had 8 points in their last game, as to go with 2 rebounds, and was 75% from the field, 3 of 4.
That was a great attack by Bong Quinto. He saw that the defense was not really set up. He was able to get very close to the basket and got that contact right here.
Take a look at Bong Quinto here. And you know, if you're Blackwater, you're going to be worried about how Meralco have been penetrating. You mentioned that the Blackwater, or rather Meralco, have been pounding the paint here against the Meralco Bolts, rather the Blackwater Bossing. That has been an issue for them.
Yes, so a lot of inside points. These 19 points are mostly inside the paint, and this is by design. This is deliberate on the part of the Bolts.
Bong Quinto getting the first of 2. Again, good performance from him so far as well. It's been relatively high scoring here for the Meralco Bolts, already the 20-point mark with 4:27 left here in quarter number 1.
But also, it all starts with their defense. So they did pretty well defensively in this first quarter, and that led to at least 2 transition baskets.
4 points right now for Bong Quinto after getting those free throws, or rather 3 points. RK Lagan off the curl. Aaron Black right in front of him this time. 8 seconds on the shot clock. They gotta move. Quinto, hand off to RK Lagan. Oh, Lagan attacking Almazan. And Almazan with a swat.
Oh, it's a foul.
So it's Eddie Barefield getting fouled there. I'm not quite sure if it's on Newsom or Quinto.
I think Quinto.
So Bong Quinto will be hit with that foul.
Great timing by said Barefield to intercept that lob pass. Pass din ang talo ni Barefield to get that pass.
So RK Lagan will go back to the bench for the meantime, with the Blackwater Bossing electing to use Jed Mendoza. You know, it's funny because Jed Mendoza typically is the smallest guy on the floor, on the team. But then with RK Lagan there, he actually is an upgrade in terms of size.
Also played well against Terra Firma.
Yes, he did.
7 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists.
And he was so great with the 3x3 circuit, and also played a great spot role for the Magnolia Hot Shots before ending up with the Blackwater Bossing. A kickball there. Looks like it will go against the Bolts.
You know, a lot of players really improved coming from the 3x3 game.
Oh, yeah.
It has something to do with the speed, the quickness, no, in the 3x3, also the stamina.
Yeah, and the forced possessions as well. They're forced to handle the ball in every game to an extent that they probably wouldn't have in a 5-on-5 situation. Cedric Barefield gets a long two to fall and cue the timeout because the Blackwater Bossing are inching their way back to the ball game. 21-16 the count here, but Blackwater knocking on the door here in the first quarter. 3:29 left here in quarter number 1. Don't go away.
Especially with the wind, okay? And we're going to be up on them, all right? Hey, coach, Justin, can you go one time more?
Malakas ang hiyawan na sigaw ay walang hinto.
Let's take a look at Cedric Barefield. 17 points against in the last conference, rather, has to go with 3.4 assists and 2.7 rebounds. Coach, let's take a look at the fact that Cedric Barefield is an offense into himself, and if he gets a bit more help, Blackwater could become a more consistent team that could really make some noise this conference.
They're a scary team if they're all healthy, because they have the size. They have players like Barefield, Ilagan, Panopio now.
Let's turn it over here to Bea Escudero. Bea.
Back in action for the first time this conference is Cedric Barefield, who sat out Blackwater's opener due to right shoulder tendonitis. Well, speaking to Cedric, there is an extra sense of motivation, especially after being named a Rookie of the Year nominee. Though he didn't take home the award, he shared how honored he was to even be part of that list. And as he put it, I may not have won the votes from the media, but what matters is being acknowledged by the players I go up against. And with that mindset, Cedric is stepping into this conference with a point to prove that he can be a real threat on the floor and help bring Blackwater to the playoffs. Gentlemen.
Thank you so much for that report. That was Bea Escudero. And again, we take a look at Cedric Barefield's scoring talent. By that virtue alone, it feels like they do have a shot if he's healthy and if he gets a bit more help.
Not only his talent, he's also a big size guard. And look at that great pass by Barefield. He used to play point guard, no, in Division 1 in the US, in NCAA in the US, and he's such a great passer. Alain Maliksi is struggling in this season so far, but this is a great start for him. First attempt, and immediately 2 points from medium range.
You know, a good reminder that Maliksi is a bucket getter, a certified bucket getter, professional scorer, as they say. There's a chance here for Badwin Ginto to get a couple on the board. Already 2 points in this game, dapat Ginto.
And I still think Alain Maliksi is the best pure shooter in the Meralco Bolts team. It's just a matter of really getting him open to take shots.
Oh, here's Newsom. Newsom against Mendoza, and it looks like a whistle blown. Will it be a foul against Chris Newsom? So we're going to take a look at this, because it happened right in front of the bench of the Blackwater Bossing, and a lot of them are insistent that Chris Newsom extended an arm towards the upper shoulder area at the very least of Jet Mendoza.
Yeah, so they're gonna have to review it. We couldn't see clearly, you know, from our spot here, but like you said, it was right in front of the Blackwater bench.
Watch that left arm, and it did raise. And there might have been a bit of contact, but it looked unintentional from our point of view, Coach.
Yes, he did not really extend his arm, but
Foul on number 26, Jet Mendoza.
So the foul will be on Jet Mendoza.
On Chris Newsom for second motion.
Oh,
But a technical foul. for second motion for Chris Newsom.
So the foul was called already before that forearm made contact with the chin of Jed Mendoza. So right call, no, technical on Newsom.
Our Barefield here, already 5 points, make that 6. 23-18 the count here, but the Blackwater Bossing still looking on course to try and make a comeback here. And you could really tell that he's made a big difference on about Cedric Barefield. A while ago, it felt like they were bleeding 4 points, but as soon as Cedric Barefield came into the game, this looks like a more comfortable Blackwater team. But what a rebound there from Almazan. The Blackwater Bossing have been subpar in the defensive rebounding department here in this game.
Yes, you can see there clearly, no, it was just Almazan under the basket against 3 white shirts. So they gotta do a better job in boxing out.
Barefield unable to get that to go. As Maliksi hands it off to Aaron Black, and the ball will stay with the black shirts.
Well, good tap by Christian David because Meralco is really looking to attack the paint. And that time, he was able to prevent attacking that basket.
Escoto checks in for Christian David. Again, David was one of the go-to guys in the last game. And it'll be interesting to see here how he adapts to Cedric Barefield coming back, because he's going to have less touches this time around, Coach.
Yes, but I'm sure he wouldn't mind, no? Especially that they need Barefield in this game. The top local scorer last season for them. But this is a good start for Alain. He's more active. He has 2 points already, and now a chance for 2 free throws.
Gets the first 2. As we turn it over to Bea Escudero. Bea.
It's been quite a journey for Alain Maliksi, who is coming off a tough stretch of injuries. First, a bone spurs cleanup, and then sciatica. But Alain shared that what has been driving him lately is a conversation he had with Coach Nenad, who reminded him to manage expectations and focus on the right things. Well, now that he is back in full swing, Alain says it's not just about putting up numbers anymore. It's about keeping up with the pace, staying aggressive, and leading by example. As he put it, it's all about trusting one another, making the right plays, the extra passes, and doing my part on defense. Well, despite the slow start in this conference, Alain is locked in and determined to help bring back that winning energy for the Bolts. Gentlemen.
Thank you so much for that report. That was Bea Escudero. And, you know, the winning energy, the shooting that he brings, it's such a big boost here for the Meralco Bolts, especially when you have a veteran that even-keeled, right? So we take a look at what's happening on the other hand here, because Abu Tratter had a chance here to get 2 from the free throw line. It's the first, as Abu Tratter, again, improved in the last game, given more playing time here by Coach Jeff Carriazo. Splits the free throws.
Yes, it was a defensive mistake on the part of Raymond Almazan. He brought his arm down, and that's an automatic foul. And so that gave 2 free throws to Abu.
Abu Tratter hit the deck there, but then Raymond Almazan couldn't get to it anyway. Here's Jed Mendoza. Barefield open for a second, and that's all the time he needed.
Barefield is really waxing hot in this first quarter. That's a transition 3 for him.
So far, so good for Cedric Barefield. 9 points in this game so far. Here's Aaron Black working on Jed Mendoza, working the pick and roll with Almazan. Now it is Pascual. Chris Newsom getting the foul from Barefield. That'll be 2 free throws. First foul here on Barefield. Let's take a look at this again. This 3-point shot is brought to you by Arena Plus Sportsbook. Cedric Barefield has been giving the offensive boost needed by this team. Again, they were struggling mightily in the opening minutes before he came in.
But his teammates are also looking for him. He's the first option every time they're on offense. And there you see that was a great pass coming from Jed Mendoza. Jed knew that Barefield could hit that transition 3.
Chris Newsom gets that one to go as well. 29-22 in favor still of the Meralco Bolts. High scoring quarter we have here so far, Coach.
Very high scoring, yes.
Take a look at that. 12 perimeter points here for the Blackwater Bossing, as the stab inside, no good. Here's Pascual. And for Raymond Almazan. This is a veteran lineup here, actually, for the Meralco Bolts, with Aaron Black being the youngest player. What a fine inside Pascual. No good. Almazan offensive rebound. Second chance opportunity. The ball will go to the white shirts.
Yes, sorry miss for both Kyle Pascual and Raymond Almazan. Those were quite open, no, under the basket. But credit also the defense of Blackwater. They were active, you know, they did not just let that easy layup go.
Cedric Barefield. Going all the way in.
Wow, and that was against Raymond Almazan. What a gutsy drive by Barefield.
Made it look so simple. Talk about Cedric Barefield.
Parang binabawi niya yung matagal niyang absence, eh, no? 11 points already in the first period.
Here's Maliksi on the drive, on the attack. No good. Almost another offensive rebound, but Jet Mendoza has it. They're going to slow things down here. Mendoza took a look at the clock and realized the shot clock was off. And there he is, looking for Cedric Barefield, the hottest hand in the gym. Abu Tratter with the pick here. Attracts the double team. Barefield attacks anyway. He goes up, the floater, no dice. Abu Tratter keeps it alive to Mendoza. Mendoza in, out, and out again. And the Meralco Bolts go into the second quarter with a 5-point advantage. But that man on your screen, Cedric Barefield, has been doing it all. Already with 11 points in this game, and Blackwater are in contention.
Yes, 7 minutes only in this game, but already 11 points on 2 of 4 from the three-point field for Cedric Barefield. What a great start for him.
Great start for him, and the Meralco Bolts will be wary because if he is rising, then Blackwater will be a tougher contest. Now, when we return, we'll have second quarter action, 29-24, still in favor of the Meralco Bolts. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Solid ang laban, malupit ang galawan. Solid ang pas, malakas ang hiyawan.
Get you a seal, Abu. We're gonna get you a seal here, okay? All right. Ben, Rich, come up. Okay. That's Rich. Right. They're setting it the screen. Abu, okay. Wait for it. Abu, you're curling right here. You're exploding right here. Go out, go out. Explode right here. Rich, you're looking there. Okay, all right.
Paano ko out na ako? Paka-screen ko pag pindaw
Yeah,
ko.
where's your ball screen stuck? Huh? Ball screen stuck. Black pa rin. Right.
Welcome back. You're still watching your PBA with the Meralco Bolts leading the Blackwater Bossing 29-24, but it's not comfortable by any stretch of the imagination, Coach. The Meralco Bolts, initially we were talking about how good they were defensively, but then the Blackwater Bossing did this thing called bringing in Cedric Barefield.
Yes. Truly an explosive scorer and someone who really wants to take shots. And his 11 points definitely helped his team.
Well, we have Greg Slaughter in the house here. Of course, the Barangay Ginebra fans are all now murmuring, I'm sure, by his presence here. Of course, Ginebra will be playing later on in the TNT Tropang 5G in our second game today, so make sure to tune in for that. But here he is first enjoying the contest, and that will be another foul. I guess it might be on Raymond Almazan, not quite sure. Let's see if it will be meted out to him. Oh, it'll be a foul on Aaron Black instead. So Abu Tratter will have 2 free throws. He has been a bit more aggressive here, Abu Tratter. There was a spell here in his PBA career wherein he didn't get the minutes that he felt like he deserved. But let's take a look at his performance against Barefield.
Yes, very decent, no? 12 points, 8 rebounds. Definitely one of the best defensive bigs for Blackwater. And you're right about being aggressive in the first quarter. He has had several attempts. So it looks like he got the green light from Coach Jeffrey Carriazo.
And what's interesting is that he's working more in the post, just trying to attack bigs more often and absorbing the contact. And being an undersized big, maybe that might be easier to do. Here is Aaron Black. That's going to be an offensive foul.
Yes, he used his shoulder to get some space, and that was right in front of our official. Greg Slaughter has a different look. Huh? He has this military cut, and he seems to be more masculine.
Yeah, just taking a look at the hair. But of course, the thing with Greg Slaughter is that the one thing you can't take away from him, he's still tall.
Oh, he's very tall.
Still a big figure. As we focus again on the game at hand. Here's Escoto swinging it around. Just on on the attack here are the Blackwater Bossing. Mendoza handing it to the outside again, and almost a foul or a turnover still.
Yes, a good help that time coming from the Bolts, and that forces a turnover on Blackwater.
Andrade there might have held on to it too much. Maybe if he let go, it might have been a foul. But either way, here's Black using the pick from base. Oh, great little 1-2.
These offensive sets by Meralco are really amazing. No? They're really looking to score inside, especially when Bates is on the floor. No? He's a recipient of a lot of those passes inside.
And that's going to be a travel. They were asking for travel in the first point scored by Abu Tratter a while ago, but got it this time.
And that's 3 turnovers now for Abu Tratter. Well, that's kind of expected because he's being aggressive. No, he's really looking to score and attack.
And the thing is with Abu Tratter, I believe he has a American football background as well, so he's used to getting contact inside. Like, he's not bothered by it. Here's Maliksi. Andrade. Maliksi again gets his own miss, and again, defensive rebounding has been an issue here, considering the Meralco Bolts have been getting a few second chance opportunities, Coach.
Yes, and of course, Alain Maliksi taking advantage of his height against his defender there.
Scott unable to get that to fall. And right now, the Blackwater Bossing, without Cedric Barefield, their offense has ground to a halt here. Aaron Black put that up, and he will shoot 2. He's holding on to his knee here. Hopefully, he's okay. Jed Mendoza saying that he got hit on the head after that floater attempt from Aaron Black. But the foul will still go against Jed Mendoza.
Well, you can see every time Meralco goes in transition, they're gonna look at that paint. If there's an opening, they're gonna take it. They're just gonna take it strong, and that's exactly what Black did.
Here's Black, misses the first. Blackwater trailing by 9. With the Meralco Bolts trying to make this 10-point lead. But then we all know, based on what we've seen in the last game, no lead is safe. The Meralco Bolts look comfortable against the Rain Channel Last Painters, but then Nathan Rogues from Gabe Norwood, then of course 6 points against 5 for the Rain Channel Last Painters against Meralco really flipped the script.
Yes, grabe yun, yung ending na yun, and it really was a heartbreaking loss for the Meralco Bolts.
Merel couldn't get the 3-ball to go. Jed Mendoza, one of the smallest guys on the floor.
Ooh.
Oh, little fake. And again, because of his background in 3x3, you gotta feel that he does not care about how big the person in front of him is.
Yung confidence, nagkaroon talaga si Jed Mendoza with the help of the 3x3 for sure. I mean, only a confident player will do that, no, against 2 defenders almost under the basket.
Mendoza to shoot 2 here. Again, he has that potential to be an explosive scorer. He's one of those guys that you wouldn't be surprised if he has that odd 25-point game all of a sudden, because he just gets so hot. He has the capability to do that.
Well, if you knew him, of course, if you've been watching him way back in college, he was a pretty good scorer. No, he would average in double digits. And we all know he's a very talented player. And here in Blackwater, he's getting the minutes. No?
Yeah.
So that's very important for a player.
Yeah, the opportunity for sure. Here's Banquero. Banquero showing a quick double. Morrissey on the attack. At that time, there's a bit of miscommunication from Tratter and Escoto, unable to stop Ray Marose.
Yes, you don't give the left side to Jose. He's so strong going to his left.
Well, that went nowhere there for Murel, who just flipped up a shot, hoping for some contact. Here's Chris Newsom. Newsom using a pick from Bates. Bates has been so good at pick and roll. They switch defenses, and Chris Newsom pounced. Cue the timeout from Coach Jeff Carriazo, because Meralco have been dissecting this Blackwater defense.
They're reading the defense so well, and that time Newsom used a little bit of step back for separation and a great jumper.
Well, the switching defense did not work that time around. 38-26 in favor of the Meralco Bolts with 8:57 left here in the first half. Don't go away.
Solid ang laban, malupit ang galawan. Solid ang pas, malakas ang hiyawan. Ang aksyon ay walang hintay.
trying to catch, we got to get open. So we can get into our sets. We're always on our heels. We're trying to attack on our heels. We got to be the aggressors. Right now, they're the aggressors. We got to be more aggressive. And that doesn't mean just everyone just attack with your head down. Let's be smart.
Let's take a look at Chris Newsom's numbers here. 23.1% in terms of field goal percentage against the Rain or Shine and Last Painters. Didn't do much better in their first game as well. And you just gotta feel that we know that Chris Newsom has another level, but then there's so much more focus on him from a defensive standpoint from all of the teams in the league.
Well, obviously, the 2 losses of Meralco, part of the reason is because of Chris Newsom's numbers being below the usual numbers for Chris. He's such an important player in this team, definitely the leader of this team, which is why it's very important for him to get his usual numbers. And in this game, he looks to be okay. Maybe he'll get better as we go along.
And we're going to be hoping for that, Coach, because when he is feeling good, he's such an entertaining player to cover and watch.
Oh, very entertaining. But the thing is, kasi Paolo, he's also the best defensive player in this team. So it's like double duties for him, especially if he has to match up against Barefield.
Well, let's take a look at what's going to happen here. Christian David trying to get going here. Late shot clock situation. Andrade and too strong. Bates, great rebound.
You can see the moment that Bates got that rebound, he was looking ahead kung meron ng forward pass for a fast break, no? But that time, Blackwater did a great job in transition defense.
Ali Maliksi, now to Banquero. Hey, Marce. Almost steal here, coming for Cruz-Damont. Newsom against Cruz-Damont. He jumped, and Newsom said, let me take advantage of that.
Yes, that's the veteran in Newsom, but I appreciate how the rookie Jack Dumont is really aggressive in defending Newsom. No, he's got active feet and making it difficult for Newsom to penetrate.
Of course, Chris Newsom getting the first of 2. Let's turn it over to Baez Escudero.
Stay the course. That was the veteran guard Chris Newsom's reminder to his teammates after their 2 early losses this conference. Chris shared that during practice, the team reflected on their highs and the lows and the importance of keeping sight of the bigger picture. He mentioned that people tend to forget how they were 1 loss away from missing the playoffs in the same conference where they won the Philippine Cup. A reminder to stay optimistic and motivated. And as he put it, we need to improve our connection and communication as a unit. And for himself, despite a rough shooting night against Rain or Shine, Chris leaned on the Meralco identity, locking in on defense, creating for his teammates, and finding ways to get to the line.
Thank you so much for that report. That was Baez Escudero. Again, he is, we mentioned he's one of the best defenders, one of the better scorers for the Meralco Bolts. He's also arguably the best leader in this team, and he, I'm sure, is one of the more vocal ones. As Christian David tries to get a 3-ball to go. No dice, but it'll be hit with a flopping violation. Talking about David, Raymond Jose applauding that decision.
Well, so far, Meralco doing a great job still on Christian David. No? He has really struggled in this game because Meralco knows exactly what to do to him defensively.
Well, there are 2 players that found some regular success against the Meralco Bolts here from Blackwater Bossing, and that is Arke Ilagan and Cedric Barefield, and the 2 of them are set to come in right after this free throw coming from Chris Newsom, which he makes.
Well, this is because Blackwater has struggled in their last few possessions offensively, so now they need more scorers on the floor.
Let's take a look at that again. This was ruled as a flop, and you can see why. No real contact there from Raymond Jose.
Yes, that's correct. There was no contact, or at least enough contact to cause him to fall.
All right, so the Blackwater Bossing are going to be hoping that the pair of Ilagan and Barefield will work out, and that's going to be a foul on the Meralco Bolts, actually. Looks like Banquero will be hit with that foul. So Bates, rather, will be hit with that foul. And it was funny watching Arke Ilagan trying to steal that pass for Brenton Bates. The height difference just so stark. Here's Christian David. Radon Ginto. Now Cedric Barefield. Oh, Chris Newsom, we did mention he's one of the better defenders, and that time almost came up with steal.
And he was really sticking close to Barefield. He knows a little bit of space, can allow Barefield to take a jump shot, and that's how brilliant a defensive player Chris Newsom is. Part of the reason why he's always been a part of the national team, it's because of his defense.
His defense, his character,
His leadership.
his leadership. He has been one of the better positive players when it comes to making sure that the message always comes across. It's such a good communicator.
He's such a gem to have in any team.
Here's RK Ilagan working on Banquero. Short shot clock. He's got to go. Little fake. Oh, left it short.
Everything but the shot. That was such a great move from RK.
RK Ilagan giving up a lot of size here. Chris Newsom wants to post up against him.
Oh, that's an offensive foul. Yes.
Well, Newsom is protesting his innocence here. And Bong Quinto suggesting that's a flop from RK Ilagan. RK Ilagan feeling quite sure that it was a foul.
It looked like he got hit. I think I saw that inadvertent on the part of Newsom because he was trying to post up a shorter defender.
Yeah.
Pero tumama dun sa mukha ni RK.
Well, let's take a look at that again. Watch the arm here. There.
Oh, it was the elbow.
So it looks like RK Ilagan wins possession back. And he's only been here for a few possessions, coach, but he has already made a difference.
And yes, I mean, to guard Newsom at the post, that's, you know, you gotta commend that courage. Wow!
Oh, and that's a good stop, but it's going to be still white ball.
But that's a great read by RK. No, that's what's called a slip. No, he was trying to move to the other side, but he saw that there was an opening in the middle. Kaya lang, nandun si Hodge right behind him to block his shot.
Not just good defense being shown by Meralco Bolts here. Even RK Ilagan have a bit of difficulty. And you called it a while ago, coach, with Barefield being hounded by Chris Newsom. They have to go elsewhere for their offense.
Yes, they need other options, maybe even other sets.
And that time, Bong Quinto able to get that to go. Here's a third opportunity here for the Meralco Bolts. Cliff Hodge loses the handle. Christian David takes it. Here's Barefield. Raymar Jose right in front of him. On a pass to Jack Dumont. And get it to fall, though.
Well, this is another kid who's got the green light to shoot. Definitely a shooter. You can see his form. But of course, this is only his second game in this season.
Raymar Jose. He wants a step back three. Oh, he gets it.
And that's quite a surprise. Although it was set up for him.
Oh, it was set up for him, and he looks like he practices it, coach.
Oh.
That was almost formulaic.
We don't see that too often from him to take an outside shot.
And you know what? When big, and they're going to have to take a look at this again. Because things are getting heated here at the Big Dome. 20-point lead, by the way, from Meralco Bolts. But then don't tell them that.
These are two big boys, very physical. But I saw a second motion coming from Toto Jose. And that's what Bradwin Quinto did not like.
So let's take a look at what happened exactly. Let's see whether or not that second motion was in reaction to something or something else. Let's take a look at that. So I believe Raymar Jose tried to swipe for the ball with his right hand right there. Oh, no. So I think that angle shows a different story as well.
Yun yung hindi nagustuhan ni Bradwin. Because there was already a foul called, and there was that second motion coming from Toto Jose.
Toto Jose, if you're not sure kung anong number niya, just take a look at the back of his head also. Baka hindi daw kita yung sa jersey niya eh. So,
I was gonna say, Paolo, ako hindi ko kaya gawin yun.
I don't know about that, coach. We'll see.
Hindi ko kaya kahit ano lang, kahit isang single digit lang, hindi ko magawa sa buhok ko.
Yan yung next challenge mo, coach. So, of course, right now, the Meralco Bolts with a 20-point lead, 46-26. But the referee's reviewing that altercation last time around coming from
Foul
Toto
on
Jose.
number 24, Raymar Jose, penalty. Technical foul on Raymar Jose for second motion.
Second motion.
So, second technical given to the Meralco Bolts, I believe, in this half.
Yes.
And Toto Jose will be hit with a foul and free throws here. Let's take a look at that again. You got to watch that right arm from Toto Jose.
There was the foul.
There, yeah.
Yun, second motion. And the thing is, the Bolts are already in penalty with still a lot of time here in the second quarter. Still over 5 minutes. So that's too early for Meralco.
And the Blackwater Bossing will need every single opportunity from this
Yes.
point on, because this has been a very one-sided second quarter. Just after, it was actually a good performance from Blackwater Bossing at the end of the first. It was only a 5-point lead, but now it went up all the way to 20.
It was a very strong second quarter for Meralco, but this is a great opportunity for Blackwater. They have to take advantage that Meralco is in penalty. They gotta attack the basket more and try to get fouls and then score from the free throw line.
There's a suspension of play here. So things are getting testy here. Anjo Karam is going to come in for Chris Banquero. And the referees here confirmed Coach Luigi Trillo. So Brandon Ginto will have another free throw. So we have here a poll question. Who will have more steals, CJ Cancino or RK Ilagan? You can answer that on Pilipinas Live on the app. As well as online, I believe. Anyway, for all of that, you can download and register for free on Google Play or the Apple Store. Christian David checks out in favor of Abu Tratter. So let's see what's going to happen here. This is the second free throw as well from Brandon Ginto. Still 18-point lead in favor of the Meralco Bolts. Anjo Cara trying to work on Dumont. Ginto attacking Cedric Barefield, and that will be a foul and 2 free throws. A little bump there on the attack from Cedric Barefield.
Yes, and also he was very open. I'm talking about the defensive stance of Barefield. He really gave up that baseline. And we know Bong Quinto is so strong. He's going to take it really strong if you give him that open lane.
Speaking of Bong Quinto, misses the first 2.
In the first quarter, Meralco was perfect from the free throw line, 11 of 11.
A bit of a struggle here this time around for the Bolts, as Quinto splits the free throws. Now, the question is, can the Blackwater Bossing turn things around? They have been listless here in the second quarter in terms of the offense and have allowed the Meralco Bolts to really have their way on the other end. Here's RK Ilagan, Anjo Karam right in front of him. And that'll be a foul from Raymond Almazan. And Almazan will be hit with another foul. That'll be his second for the game.
Very aggressive on the part of Raymond, but he extended his leg a little bit and his hip. And RK Ilagan took advantage of that, and now he's got 2 free throws.
RK Ilagan gets the first of 2 as we take a look at his 22-point performance against the Barefield Majip.
22 points, 6 of 8 from the field. He also had 10 rebounds, and that's truly amazing. And add to that 4 steals.
Be Escudero has more.
When you talk about rebounds, you don't usually think of guards, but just like what you guys mentioned, RK Ilagan broke that mold in Blackwater's last game, grabbing 10 of the team's 61 total rebounds. RK shared that since his college days, he's always looked up to Scotty Thompson, a player known for doing it all and making his presence felt even in the rebounding department. And that is exactly what RK aims to emulate here for Blackwater. You credit Coach Jeff Cariaso as well, who constantly reminds the team that crashing the boards is everyone's job and not just the bigs. As RK put it, I may be the smallest on the floor, but it's the effort you give in every department that makes the biggest difference. Gentlemen.
Thank you so much for that report. That was Be Escudero. And, you know, that really hits home because when you take a look at a guy like RK Ilagan, the man on your screen right now, he talked about rebounding as being as a result of effort. And normally that's what we say. It's an effort stat, talking about rebounding.
It is. More than the size, it's really the effort, the determination, and also the timing.
Well, that time, Chris Newsom getting the shot over the extended hands of Clifford Hopia. Here's Barefield. He wants to get going here. That's a 3-ball. Oh, and they needed that one.
Another tough shot for Barefield that was contested, but it's just so good.
Here's Anjo Cara. Now Hodge hands it back. Cara. Newsom has it. They switch defenses here. And the attack, as Panopio couldn't really contain a Chris Newsom.
Well, tough assignment there for the switch.
Well, this 3-point shot is brought to you by Arena Plus Sportsbook, as that was a much-needed stab coming from the Blackwater Bossing's Cedric Barefield.
There was a challenge in front of him. He still was able to make it.
Newsom, that's the first of 2. And again, you know, talking to him about the schedule of the Meralco Bolts is always going to be a tough schedule. And he understands completely that, you know, they need to survive this initial stretch. And then they are able to go into the next phase of the conference with a bit more energy.
And also, it's nothing new for the Bolts. It seems like every season they have this period where they have to play in other tournaments as well. And so they're used to it.
Here's Abutrata trying to work on Cliff Hodge. So now he'll say that's a pass. But either way, here's another shot. And this is much better from the Blackwater Bossing in terms of trying to control the boards. We didn't see that a while ago. Though the result wasn't quite there, it's a good start.
Definitely. And well, I'd like to acknowledge Clifford Hopia, who has had 2 rebounds right away, the moment he checked in.
And right now at the moment, it's still one-sided. The Meralco Bolts still in charge, 51-33. Don't go away, 3 minutes left until the first half.
Solid ang laban, malupit ang galawan. Solid ang pas, malakas ang hiyawan. Ang aksyon ay walang hinto. Sa solid na laro. Solid ang laban, malupit ang galawan. Solid ang pas, malakas ang hiyawan. Ang aksyon ay walang hinto.
Knock it down. Okay, all right. All right, let's try to change it up a bit. But it's going to be harder, Sad. All right, we're going to go to 2. Oh my gosh! A foul! A foul has been committed by Pure Foods with 0.6 of a second to go. Novella committing the foul. 16 last. Unbelievable turn of events. Goes by Carriazo. Good. Carriazo was airborne. Alaska wins it. Alaska. 1996 All Filipino Cup champ.
Well, this guy is one of the bravest players in the PBA, and the mental strength to be able to drain those pressure-packed free throws at the early stage of his career really speaks volumes about his character.
Definitely very accomplished former PBA player, Jeffrey Carriazo. He's no stranger to winning championships, and he knows how to develop a team. He's got a big challenge to develop this Blackwater team because of frequent changing of the lineup. But you can see that they get better. And in this game, we can see glimpses of defensive brilliance, even with the way like Abu Trotter is given that green light to attack. Things like this. This is a Jeff Carriazo patent.
On the other end here, the Meralco Bolts going to attack this Blackwater team, who's now shown zone just to try and put a wrench into the offense of the Meralco Bolts. And so far, so good at doing that. And here's Anjo Cara. That's an emergency shot, and that's good enough.
Anjo, also a veteran guard for Meralco, and we all know medium range is not a problem for Cara.
Del Panopio. Finding Hopia. That time just using his size.
Wow, great post move and the spin from Clifford Hopia.
Well, this has been a free throw shooting game as well, as we saw the numbers there a while ago. 37 total free throws already between these two. Raymond Almazan answers back as the bigs are proving to be a big factor in this game, Coach.
It's important also for the Bolts to be hitting their perimeter shots, and that time Raymond Almazan gave him.
And Clifford Hopia unable to control that one. Panopio now to Abu Tratter, attacking Raymond Almazan. Oh, bully ball inside, will try again. And this time still not there. But you know what? The effort's there coming from Abu Tratter. The result hasn't been what he wanted so far. Perhaps expecting contact as well.
Well, especially that Meralco is in penalty. That's probably the instruction from Coach Jeff to really take it strong and get the fouls. And but this guy in the free throw line, Clifford Hopia, has really displayed the quality performance here in his brief stint on the floor.
You know, right now, we actually heard a murmur from the crowd a while ago after those two attempts from Abu Tratter. Right now, the next step for him is to be able to finish consistently because he's getting to those spots already. At least we are seeing that this conference, that's the improvement in his game that we have seen him probably work on throughout the offseason.
And that is naturally because Coach Jeff gave him that confidence to do it.
Yeah.
He has the go signal, and he's taking advantage, especially that Meralco is in penalty.
Well, Clifford Hopia with 4 points through those 2 free throws as well. It's going to be interesting to see how he develops throughout this conference because he's getting significantly more minutes here, or at least more thrust on the ball. And Hodge, what a find inside that time. They just operated through the 2-3.
Yes, great job for Raymond Almazan, who went in front of Abu Tratter right there, and that's an easy pass from the post.
And Coach Jeff Carriazo letting Abu Tratter hear it, saying that was yours. And here he is on the other end, working on Hodge, and he gets the 2 back.
And that time, he made sure that he would score on that layup.
Now what does Meralco Bolts do here? And Chokkaram on the attack. Oh, what a find to Raymond Almazan, and the follow-up is good.
Well, this has been the biggest weakness of Blackwater. It's the ability to black out, or the lack of it. So they couldn't black out, and that's another putback for Meralco.
You know, Coach Jeff Carriazo, we could actually hear him from the bench saying, box out, box out. And ooh, that's just a great block again from Cliff Hodge, who devoured that shot from Panopio.
And Blackwater is not a small team. They definitely have the size. They just need to put more effort in putting a body on the rebounders of Meralco.
It feels like their front line's a bit disconnected, Coach, when it comes to their rebounding efforts. 2 people, it takes a village to get that rebound down.
And I know also for a fact that Meralco puts a lot of drills in rebounding.
Yeah.
So this is the reason why they're so good. Imagine having Coach Norman Black as a consultant for Meralco, one of the best rebounders ever.
And that time, the pass just too hot there for Cedric Barefield.
Well, no space right there for Blackwater in that offense. So that caused the turnover.
Well, right now, it is a 20-point lead, 46.1 left in the half. Let's take a look at Del Panopia's numbers in his debut. 13 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 steals. And you gotta say that this guy has a bright future. And the better he does in his rookie year, the more dependent he will be. So he's going to have to improve quickly as well as defenses start keying in.
It's definitely a prize catch for Blackwater. We've heard his name for a long time. He played for Batangilas, almost got recruited in the UAAP, but then again he opted to play Division I NCAA in the US. So we know Del Panopio really has the talent to be here in the PBA.
Absolutely. 59-39 the score here. And of course, Panopio has a chance to really impress, but then so far hasn't done so. Still a goose egg in terms of his stat line. That could change very quickly, mind you. So let us find out how the second half will be for him. But a couple more possessions here in the first half with CJ Casino on the attack, on the move. Stop, pop, steps forward, no good. And the ball will go to a black shirt again.
A good effort by Dumont to recover that loose ball, but he ran out of space. So that's still a great stop for Blackwater. One stop at a time is what they need, you know, to be able to chop down this 20-point deficit.
Maliksi will inbound things here for the Meralco Bolts. 14 seconds on the shot clock, 35 left here in the quarter. Here's CJ Cancino. Quinto has it. And that will be a travel, and we're going to go the other way. No call to challenge here from the bench. And the Blackwater Bossing will have an opportunity here. Cue a timeout though. 30-second timeout as Coach Jeff Carriazo is going to try his best here to try and make sure that they score from this possession. They need it badly, Coach.
I'm sure they're gonna try to find something here in this possession. They don't wanna go to the dugout with a 20-point deficit.
Let's take a look at Abu Tratter here and some of his highlights from the last fixture that he had. Of course, Abu Tratter, we mentioned a while ago, he is showing us a bit more force in the interior, trying to play a bit more bully basketball. And as we take a look at the next 3 games here for the Blackwater Bossing, it won't be easy at all. United Center and Antipolo on October 24, followed by the NLEX Road Warriors, and then the Titan Ultra Giant Risers at the Ninoy Aquino Stadium. Those are the next 3 game days for Blackwater Bossing. And you gotta feel, Coach, that if they get this over the Meralco Bolts, still a lot of time to make a comeback, by the way, it should be an interesting campaign for Coach Jeff Carriazo.
Oh yes, well, they had a very impressive first game, a 20-point win over Terra Firma. That's of course, they want to build on that. And but this is a big test, of course. It's Meralco. It's one of the strongest teams in the league.
So well coached, very good defensively, and it's always going to be a test for this young group. Here's Del Panopio on the attack, on the move. Great defense by Cliff Hodge, and the ball will go the other way.
And it's excellent on-the-ball defense by Cliff Hodge on the driving Panopio. Panopio needs to be able to read the defense well. He cannot just force his way into the basket, especially when you have a Hodge on you.
Here's CJ Cancino. King on the dribble. Stop, pop. Oh, that's a pretty basket.
Nice shot from CJ.
And CJ Cancino with the last words of the first half, 61-39. Very much in favor of the Meralco Bolts. One-way traffic here as Meralco are showing everyone that the 0-2 start was an aberration. As we take a look at Brandon Bates here, 10 points in 10 minutes, Coach, with a raw plus-minus of +16.
Very valuable big man, especially at the start of this game. He's one of the reasons why they have this commanding lead.
One of the reasons why he has a commanding lead, and one of the reasons why they are comfy going into the halftime break. 61-39 with Meralco on top of the Blackwater Bossing. Don't go away. We'll be back with the second very soon.
Malakas ang hiyawan, ang action ay walang hinto. Sa solid na laro, sa solid na laro. Solid ang laban, malupit ang galaw. Galaw-galaw. Solid ang pas, malakas ang hiyawan, ang action ay walang hinto. Sa solid na laro. Solid ang laban, malupit ang galaw. Solid ang pas, malakas ang hiyawan.
the 50th season of the PBA Philippine Cup. Live tayo dito sa Araneta Coliseum para sa larong Meralco kontra Blackwater. At the half, the score is 61-39 in favor of the Bolts. At mamaya babalikan natin ang laro. But for now, it's time for us to get to know some of the standout players that we had the last week. Uunahin natin ang ating Rookie of the Week. At syempre, pati ako napahanga because this rookie was the first ever rookie who scored a triple-double in his PBA debut. I'm talking about Juan Gomez de Liano. So for us to get to know more about him, let's watch this.
Matagal nang inaabangan ng PBA fans. The second overall pick of season 50 draft. Juan GDL as he knocks down the three. Juan all the way!
Leading the way with 7 points. Superior confidence.
Evading the defense. What a pocket pass! Juan Gomez de Liano.
Para set up Dani from Juan Gomez de Liano.
Gomez de Liano for three. That's another one. Great pass by Gomez de Liano. Assist number 7 for the rookie.
Team ng black shirt to be able to get inside the basket.
Definitely making history here in the PBA, kaya naman siya rin ang ating Player of the Week.
Matagal nang inaabangan ng PBA fans. The second overall pick of season 50 draft. Juan GDL as he knocks down the three. Juan all the way!
Leading the way with 7 points. Superior confidence.
Evading the defense. What a pocket pass! Juan Gomez de Liano.
Para set up Dani from Juan Gomez de Liano.
Gomez de Liano for three. That's another one. Great pass by Gomez de Liano. Assist number 7 for the rookie.
Team ng black shirt to be able to get inside the basket.
Talaga namang super rookie tong si Juan Gomez de Liano, and we look forward to see what else he can contribute to Converge. Pero hindi natatapos ang ating pag-acknowledge ng basketball standouts because earlier this week, we had our 31st PBA Press Corps Annual Awards. And for us to know what happened during that night, tara, panoorin natin ito.
Well, of course, you know, to play professionally, you know, has always been a dream of mine since I was young, and you know, to have this award, you know, at a very young age, I feel like, you know, it's big time. You know, it's a great feeling to come in and make an impact immediately. But you know, for me, I just see it as, you know, another challenge. You know, I want to be able to sustain what I've been able to do so far and carry that into the next conference and, you know, upcoming seasons as well. Yeah, you know, she's been my inspiration since she was born, and you know, I play every game for her and, you know, my wife Bella, and you know, it's just a great moment to have them here to celebrate tonight. The PBA Press Corps, you know, I just want to thank you for, you know, considering me for this award and, you know, allowing me to be part of the All-Rookie team. Thank you, and all glory to God.
And, it was tough, man. You know, being out, you know, for so long. You know, wanting to play, you know, being there for the guys, you know, they won 2 championships. So, you know, that just added extra fuel to my fire to come back and, you know, put in a lot of extra work to make sure I was, you know, the best I can be when I come back. So, you know, honestly, it was a lot of different things that played into it. But, you know, at the end of the day, like I said, the hard work was just put in. And I'm just thankful that it was recognized. And, you know, I'm blessed to, you know, receive this achievement. I just want to give a huge thank you to the PBA Press Corps. Thank you so much for this honor, you know, to be recognized by you guys. You know, you guys are there every day, just like the players. So I appreciate it so much, and can't wait to, you know, keep working with you guys.
I'm blessed. All glory to God, man. I didn't expect it, but I'm really grateful. I'm honored. I'm humbled. And I'm happy that people can see me trying to play defense out there. So, yeah, all glory to God. I don't think the award makes me want to play harder. You know what I mean? The defense is the defense. So I'm going to go out there and I'm going to play defense no matter what, because that's the one thing I can control. Can't always control if your shots are flowing or if your team is playing well on the offensive end, but defense is, it's just effort. So am I going to continue to put the effort in? Of course. But as far as do I think it'll contribute to the championship, I hope so. You know, hopefully we can all pitch in on defense, do what we need to do to be able to win a championship. Thank you to the PBA Press Corps. You guys are I mean, without you, none of this is possible. We don't have a league without you guys. Us players don't have anything that we have without you guys. So thank you so much. Thank you for this award. And hopefully you guys vote me in for some other awards later on. Thanks.
A big congratulations once again to all of our winners. At sa ngayon, balikan muna natin ang mga nanalo sa ating Press Corps Awards. For our Danny Floro Executive of the Year, congratulations to Sir Manny V. Pangilinan. This is the third time he is awarded, as well as the Virgilio Baby Dalupan Coach of the Year. 7th time, pumunta tayo kay Coach Chot Reyes. Punta naman tayo sa ating scoring champion. We have Arvin Tolentino, Calvin Aftana with the Order of Merit, Xavier Lucero, Defensive Player of the Year, Don Troliano with Mr. Quality Minutes, and Brandon Donuelos Rosser for Comeback Player of the Year. Kasama na rin dito ang ating all-rookie team na is composed of RJ Abariento, Cedric Barefield, Kalen Chongson, Justin Baltazar, Jordan Henning, and Kai Balungay. As well as our game of the season, this is TNT versus Ginebra for the 49th season Commissioner's Cup. Pero syempre ngayon mas papainitin pa natin as we watch our top 5 plays.
Tatak ang Henlex and then T-Flex. Henlex, Esitex, T-Flex para mapasarap ang biyahe.
Pag mawala pa naman sila ng ibang
To the shoot. Semera. Oh, that should count. Go, Georgie.
Oh, yes.
Ito, magandang angulo.
Kitang-kita yan. Napakaganda kahit napakaraming oras pa natitira. Just in the nick of time. Well done. Good timing. Anthony Semera hitting that last shot.
Sabi mo nga pag pinapasa niya, maganda eh.
Pero pag dinidribble niya, natatapikan siya.
Nambatak off the spin. Gets the basket. Nakasawa ng foul.
Oh, that was just a beautiful pirouette move by Stingray. Eluding the defense of Perk as if he was going to go right and all of a sudden use that quicks.
Stingray taps it over to Gio. Oftana first touch, this time down the floor. What a variety of moves! Ankle breaker over ankle breaker mula dito kay Calvin.
And it's not always that you see something like that. Usually on a crossover, but not on pivot moves. Going forward, backward, all of a sudden.
8 seconds on the shot clock para sa Barefield Majid. Jering makes his move, scoops it up, and gets it in.
Oh, just an amazing shot by Hanmis. 2 things. Number 1, he did not show back. Number 2, that is different. You know that he will just spot up and shoot the perimeter J. That is an improved skill that he developed over the break. Yung penetration na.
Here comes Raider Shine. A 2 to tie and a 3 to win. Malcolm puts it up. No! Malcolm's still in it. No! Oh! Game Norwood to the rescue!
Woo! As advertised, I said, we were expecting a good one. Eto na nga. Careful what you wish for, my friend.
Look at the fire in the eyes of the 17th season veteran. Malakas ang hiyaw.
Hello and welcome back to the Big Dome. You're still watching Pilipinas Live and PBA Rush for your PBA 50th season Philippine Cup. The Meralco Bolts still in charge here against the Blackwater Bossing, 61-39 at the end of the first half. Hello, I'm Pablo De Rosario alongside Coach Jude Roque. Escudero joins us on the sidelines. And Coach, that second quarter explosion from the Meralco Bolts has proven to be the difference so far in this game.
Very impressive, actually, the entire first half of the Meralco Bolts. Blackwater in the first quarter, they were able to go toe-and-toe with the Meralco Bolts, but the second quarter was really amazing on both ends of the floor for the Bolts.
Let's take a look at some of the numbers here that led to this scoreline. Of course, the rebounding disparity huge here in favor of the Meralco Bolts, and it was a plus 27 second quarter for the Bolts as well.
Yes, Meralco has 11 more rebounds than Blackwater. They dominated the boards. They also limited Blackwater to just 4 assists, and also a horrendous below 30% shooting field goal for Blackwater in the first half. So that's a result of the amazing defense of the Bolts.
Well, the Blackwater Bossing are now led in scoring by the returning Cedric Barefield, the only player in double-digit scoring here for Blackwater. On the other end, you have guys like Cliff Hodge and Chris Newsom, as well as Brandon Bates, all three of them in double-digit scoring. And take a look at this. Christian David, who was a star player against Terrafirma with 24 with 0 points here today. Not only that, Dal Panopio as well, not having scored yet so far after a great opening outing for him and the Blackwater Bossing in the first game. But the Meralco Bolts look keyed in on those guys, Coach. Well scouted today and not getting the looks that got them so productive last time around.
Well scouted indeed. And not only is David scoreless, he couldn't get an open look. There was totally no open shot for Christian David. And Dal Panofio also still scoreless after scoring 13 points in his debut. And again, the Meralco defense, Panopio slowly getting acquainted with how the Bolts play defense in the PBA.
Well, getting acquainted, and of course, let's see how quick he adjusts, because being acquainted is one thing, because adjusting and still scoring despite the defense is another. Once again, thank you so much for joining us here at the Big Dome. I'm Pablo De Rosario alongside Coach Jude Roque, and it is Bea Escudero on the sidelines for us. We'll hear from her later on. It was a plus 27 quarter, just to be specific, 32-15 in favor of the Meralco Bolts at the end of quarter number 2. Coach, initial thoughts here with Cedric Barefield starting things off here for the Blackwater Bossing with a basket. He's starting the third quarter, which is a change from what we saw in the first and second.
Well, they badly needed to find answers to the defense of Meralco, and they found one with that drive by Cedric Barefield. That was a beautiful play, you know, a lot of ball movement until they got Barefield alone from the top.
And that time, Brandon Bates, clear lane to the basket. He has been such a big player here, Coach, talking about Brandon Bates and the way that he has been operating in the interior.
Immediately, they score inside, no? And they had 34 big points inside the paint in the first half. And the first basket is, again, under the basket.
And there it is, Aaron Black scoring after the defense was late in rotating, top of our Blackwater Bossing. That has been a weakness here for Blackwater. Points in transition have been big here for Meralco, or rather fast break points, not really much of a difference, but then they are able to take advantage of unsettled defenses from Blackwater.
And they have this certain goal of really attacking inside, try to get baskets inside. They hardly shot from the outside. They only shot 1 out of 2 from the 3-point line in the first half.
They've been pounding the paint, Coach. And it's as if they're attacking the strength of the Blackwater Bossing, which is their size, really. As Christian David able to get to that. Brandon Bates, another one. That'll be a foul from Barefield.
And same problem like in the first half for Blackwater. It's really their inability to stop the Bolts from getting those offensive boards. And now Brandon Bates will get 2 free throws because of another offensive rebound.
You know what, Coach? If we take a look at the numbers here for Brandon Bates, already climbing up in terms of the numbers here, in terms of points scored. But of course, as I say that, he misses a free throw. You know, just what is it about Brandon Bates that makes him special? Because he has this type of mobility that you don't really see in big guys like him.
You're right. He's quick. He's got great timing. He positions himself very well. He just reads the defense inside, and he's also pretty smart.
And CJ Cancino there having to foul Cedric Barefield, who got a step off him. You know, we talked about the fact that guys like Christian David and Panopio were unable to score much in the first half. In fact, did not score at all. But on the other end, you look at guys like CJ Cancino, only 4 points in that first half after an 18-point performance, I believe, in his last game. So even he is going to feel a bit of an up and down throughout the conference as well, I'm sure.
Yes, but on the part of Meralco, there are other guys that have really scored in the first half. No, for example, Cliff Hodge, who only had 5 points last time, but now has got 11 already. And Newsome also with 11.
Aaron Black gets a triple. That's a rare triple here for the Meralco Bolts. You mentioned it a while ago, Coach. You're 1 of 2 in the first half. Now 2 of 3.
Yes, well, again, no, the Blackwater tries to stop the inside attempts. They will also look to score from the outside.
Abu Trotter putting the ball on the floor and attacking Brandon Bates.
That time, very good drive for Abu.
68-46 still the count here. And right now, it looks like it'll be foul on Abu, who has, it feels like he's been so active in every single possession, defensively and offensively, here in the third quarter. As we take a look at this 3-point shot is brought to you by Arena Plus Sportsbook. Aaron Black nailing a rare triple here for the Meralco Bolts.
He had the space to shoot the open look, and he decided to make the shot.
By the way, 3 fouls already for Abu Trotter. RK Elagan taken away there. Malinin gets the rebound. RK, Christian David, Barefield wide open corner. That's his shot.
And credit that to the extra passing of the Blackwater Bossing. David, very unselfish, and he saw wide open Cedric Barefield in the corner.
Here's CJ Cancino. Bong Quinto working against Malilin, using his strength here. That's one of his dirty secrets. He is strong going inside, but that time he loses out to Blackwater Bossing.
Good attempt by Bong Quinto, just missed the shot.
Oh, he was feeling it there, Cedric Barefield, and there were just so many white shirts involved, but then Aaron Black was adjudged to have the last touch. Let's turn it over to Bea Escudero. Bea, what do you have for us?
After the first 2 quarters, assistant coach Joe Silva pointed out that Blackwater just wasn't matching the same energy being shown by Meralco, saying that their opponents looked like they wanted it more in many aspects of the game. He noted that Blackwater hasn't been running their sets properly as well, and is falling short in the 2 key areas Coach Jeff emphasized before tip-off, specifically the rebounding and assist department. Now, for the second half, the challenge is to match the Bolts' intensity, stay disciplined on defense, and move the ball with purpose. Paolo and Coach Shu, back to you guys.
Thanks so much for that report. That was Bea Escudero as Aaron Black goes on the attack, hangs up in the air and scores. Well, let's take a look at the numbers that Bea mentioned. In terms of the assist count, Meralco Bolts had 12 and Blackwater only had 4 in the entire first half, Coach. And that's just not going to do if you're the Blackwater Bossing.
Again, no credit the defense of the Bolts. They got great coverage, very difficult to pass. So a lot of the points of Barefield were by his own creation. No? So not much assist there. As we take a look at this beautiful hang time from Aaron Black.
Aaron Black hanging up in the air for what seems like forever. 70-52 in favor of the Meralco Bolts, still firmly in charge here in the third quarter.
lahat ng Converge fans dyan, Purple Nation, sana magpakita po tayo sa game namin sa October 18.
Hey, what's up guys? This is Alex Stockton here from the Converge Fiber Xers. I would like to invite you guys to our game in Chavit.
Colosseum against TNT. Sana kita-kita tayo doon and yeah, appreciate all the love and support. See you soon.
And we are going to Ilocos Sur for the Converge Fiber Xers taking on the Tropang 5G. And boy, oh boy, that should be a great contest. That's on October 18th. That's a Saturday at the Chavit Coliseum. The Converge Fiber Xers have found a gem in Gomez Eliano, Juan Gomez Eliano. As we take a look at Greg Slaughter here again, sabi nga ni Coach Jude, he is looking younger and more spry with that haircut. And it was also great seeing Greg Slaughter and every member of the PBA family, past and present, still seeing the games here.
Yes, he looks really fit and ready for battle. So,
oh, well, let's see how that develops, Coach. I mean, I'm sure a lot of PBA fans will want to see him back as we take a look at RK Ilagan's 10 points and 4 of 4 from the free throw line. Again, a born scorer. Talking about RK, gets both to go.
But it's another story going up against the Bolts. The way they prepare their scouting reports, they really study the tendencies of players, and this is why some of the scorers of Blackwater are struggling right now.
Well, right now Blackwater switching everything here. Cliff Hodge has a tough look, no good. Brandon Bates can keep it, and RK Ilagan wins the rebound ahead of Bates. Here's RK. Christian David. We're now seeing just so much more movement and a more calm way of playing for the Blackwater Bossing, and Barefield nails it from the other corner.
And you talked about that movement that allowed the east-to-west passing, and that opened up Barefield for another three-point shot.
To be frank, Coach, this is and feels like a totally different Blackwater team to what we saw in the second quarter. And they move things around. Bron Quinto left wide open. That time, no good. Better rebounding here for the Blackwater Bossing.
And another defensive stop, another opportunity here for Blackwater.
RK Ilagan on the attack, goes at it, attacks Bates. Oh, he doesn't care. He doesn't care if there's a giant in front of him.
And that time, the defense of Cliff Hodge came late. And nothing he could do anymore to that drive by RK.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a 15-2 run here in favor of the Blackwater Bossing. And if you're a Meralco Bolts fan, you're having a bit of PTSD because they had such a big lead against the Rain and Shine Lasso Painters last time around. It was a 16-point lead before they lost by 1 in overtime. They're going to be hoping that this slide is arrested sooner. Let's take a look at this again, Coach. The shot here from Barefield. You mentioned east to west.
Yes, a beautiful play. Barefield came from the left side. He went all the way to the right side, found himself open, and perfect timing on that pass. And he hits another three-point shot.
Well, at the moment, Coach, it's still a 15-3 run in favor of the Blackwater Bossing after Brandon Bates nailed that free throw. 6:32 left here in the third quarter. This is night and day compared to what we saw in the second. So don't count out Blackwater yet as Bates misses and RK Ilagan sails in for another rebound.
He's just so quick. He really goes for the ball and he's just ahead of everybody else.
RK Ilagan completes the highlight. Such a quick crossover. And that's a dart to the heart.
I wonder what Coach Jeff told them in halftime. They're a very different team right now in the second half.
Here's Bron Quinto on the attack, and that's going to be a foul on Barefield, a blocking foul. You know, I want to see that again. I want to see RK Ilagan start to cook. Here he is, working on Anjo Karam. It's a quick dribble on the side, and then getting it over Chris Newsom. We talk about courage. RK Ilagan has it.
Well, he definitely does. That was a great contra-tempo move against a decent on-the-ball defender in Anjo Karam, but RK Ilagan is just really on fire right now.
Well, he has come up big here, talking about RK. Cedric Barefield will go to the bench for the meantime, 24 points to his name. RK Ilagan already with 15 points as well. Of course, Abu Tratter in this lineup at least is one of the other top scorers here with 7 points. And Christian David now has 5 after having 0 in the first half. So splitting the free throws here. Oh, and getting the rebound. That'll be another set of free throws. And if you're Blackwater, it's hands in your head moment.
They're doing everything right in this third quarter, except for that big weakness that we kept mentioning. They haven't been able to stop the offensive rebounders of Meralco, and it's in all positions. This time it's Bong Quinto. Earlier it was Brandon Bates.
And again, they're stopping the momentum of Blackwater Bossing on the free throw line. They're going to take their time. You know, they're going to try and hope that all the time that they take will ice the momentum.
And for sure, whatever happens in this game, in their next practice, they're going to do some rebounding drills. That's for sure.
Quinto with the miss, but this time Blackwater Bossing end the possession. Here's RK Ilagan. It's been his quarter so far, working on Chris Newsom. Trying to get free of him, and that'll be a foul on Newsom, who inadvertently had a swipe to the face. Andrade, up to RK. Chris Newsom all over him. Romilidin. Abu Tratter, first options. Not much room in the interior, but he's going to go anyway. Abu, bully ball, and that's going to be a foul on Bates. And Coach Jeff Carriazo very happy with what he's showing.
This is the reason why he's got that green light. He has a certain quick first step over Brandon Bates and is able to fish for a foul.
And of course, they always say when you're going up against a bigger defender, you gotta attack them in the chest just to make sure his hands go down, and that's exactly what he did.
And I'm sure one of the members of the coaching staff has worked hard on Abu Tratter's move to prepare for this game.
Now the only thing lacking is the finish, as he misses both free throws, but that'll be another foul on Bates, a loose ball foul. Back-to-back fouls here from Brandon Bates. That'll be his fourth.
That's huge for Meralco. He's playing so well, but here comes another rebounder in Raymond Almasan.
So next foul here from the Meralco Bolts will send the Blackwater Bossing to the free throw line. We had a lot of free throws in that first quarter, in that first half rather. The Bolts had 20 free throws taken, while the Bossing had 19. Here's RK Ilagan. That's a four-pointer. He wants it. He gets it.
Ooh, what a play by RK.
RK Ilagan is on takeover mode, ladies and gentlemen.
And from 22 points, it's now down to only 8.
And here's Chris Newsom. Anjum Karam on the attack here. Newsom spins away from Ilagan. Almost throws it away. Short shot clock. They got to go. Hodge wants a three. Unable to get it. Raymond Almazan with the emergency save.
So again, another putback for Meralco. The same problem for Blackwater. It's the only thing that they haven't addressed in this third quarter.
Abu Tratter putting the ball on the ground, working against Raymond Almazan. Bully ball.
Yes, that's a bulldozer move from Abu Tratter.
You know, the physicality we're seeing from Abu Tratter. It feels like the last time he was this physical, it felt like he was in college. You know, he's just showing so much more of that strength here.
Definitely one of his best games here in his career in the PBA.
Here's Abu. Well, he's not going to take a three. He's going to go inside instead. Andrade. And that's a sign of a player knowing his role. You got to know the shots that you're allowed to take. Manilin on the attack. This time no good. Hodge completes the possession. Hodge attacking. Little bump, no good. They go to the corner. Anjum Karam wide open. Nothing there. Christian David gives it to Andrade.
Another great stop for Blackwater.
Here's RK Ilagan. He has been the spark plug here. RK. Oh, another crossover. Working on Hodge. Finds Abu in the corner. That's an assist, and Abu Tratter finishes the play.
Well, that's such a big shot for Abu Tratter from the corner.
That's a long two, according to our officials.
Yes, a long two, but still amazing. You don't see that too often from Abu Tratter. I was actually surprised why RK had to give up that pass. I thought he had a shot right here, a floater perhaps, but he gave up that pass to an open Abu Tratter, and Tratter did not disappoint.
Abu Tratter is now up to 10 points as he has turned into a monster here in the third. Bully ball extraordinaire. As Abu showing everyone what he could do. Here's CJ Cancino now. Does he have the answer to stop the flood that is the Blackwater Bossing scoring? Cancino, top of the key, 3, no dice. Chris Newsom, big rebound, big basket.
Yeah, again, offensive rebounding for the Bolts continue here.
Panopio swing that around to David. Lili working on Cancino. Now to Panopio. Panopio going strong inside. What a stop there from Raymond Almazan. Put up. And it's still Blackwater ball. They have been better here on the offensive rebound again. Andrade gets the whistle. How many free throws will that be? We'll find out.
Well, that time they were able to tap the ball outside and get another possession. So great effort on the part of Blackwater.
I believe we're going to review how many free throws that will be. But either way, Blackwater Bossing here will sue for time. It's been night and day for them. 77-69 in favor of the Meralco Bolts. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Malakas ang hiyawan, ang sigaw ay walang hinto sa solid na laro.
You can switch, okay? You show and go.
To see him grow and develop these years, I'm really proud and happy of him, for him. What everyone doesn't see is the hard work that he puts in. No, grabe work ni RK. So he really puts in the time, really puts in the work. And he's a team player, so he knows what's expected of him. So today we asked him to start, so he was ready to start. If we need him to come off the bench, he's ready also.
Well, RK Ilagan has turned into a star yet again here for the Blackwater Bossing. He is a big shot maker, playmaker extraordinaire. 10 points in the quarter and a few highlights to boot. Take a look at this. Going on the attack, it doesn't matter who's in front of him, coach, and you have to be a little bit crazy to be that size and not care who's right in front of you. And for Coach Jeff Carriazo, that is the right type of crazy.
And it definitely helps that he has so many moves. It makes it very tough to defend against him on the ball because he's got so many moves. Also, I'd like to mention, Paolo, it's very rare that a player of his size has got a lasting career here in the PBA. And there's another guy on the floor right now for Meralco, that's Anjo Karam. Also another guy, very short. Nobody expected him to last this long, but because of his discipline, because of what he can bring to the Meralco Bolts, he's still here in their roster and he's getting playing minutes.
Absolutely, coach. As the Blackwater Bossing trimmed the lead down to 70, courtesy of the free throw there coming from Andrade. And that's right, 7 points rather, 77-70. Points in the quarters, 31-16, coach. Wow. Blackwater in charge this quarter so far, and we still have a lot to play here. What has happened to the defense of the Meralco Bolts, coach?
I think, well, first of all, we have to credit the sets of Blackwater because they moved the ball more as opposed to in the first half, it was more one-on-one with Barefield, with Abu Tratter. This time, they mixed it around. Yeah. So it gave some problems to Meralco. No, but they still need to address the offensive rebounding of the Bolts.
Now, Marixi has stopped the bleeding somewhat with a couple of free throws to make the lead 9 points yet again. So So right now, if you are the Meralco Bolts and you take a look at the lineup you have in front of you, you're going to be hoping you're going to get a bit of a break here. Christian David for his options. Manopio wants to get in on the scoring action. This is out there. So at the moment, no RK Lagan, no Cedric Barefield, no Abu Trator on the floor here for Coach Jeff Carriazo. So the scoring will have to come from Christian David. That time, good rebound here. But Panopio is also an option here, but he has yet to get going in this game. Ginto, they find inside to Murel. But then unable to hold on to the leather, they're going to reset here. 8 seconds left in the shot clock. Here's Christian David working against a smaller Ancho Cara. He passes it out to Andrade. Steps up for two. That's good.
Nice move by BJ Andrade, using that shot fake, one dribble, and an open jumper from the corner.
And for BJ Andrade, I believe that is his first field goal of the game. Raymond Almazan able to score there. 7-point lead still. Blackwater could come a bit closer here. A 3 or a 4 will make it a one-possession ball game. Panopio stops on a dime. BJ Andrade gives it back to Del Panopio. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Attacking Anjo Cara. Size advantage for him. He goes up. He scores.
He decides to take it closer to the basket where he can use that size advantage over Karam.
Sometimes it's not important how much you score, but rather when. 2 points in the game so far from him, and they're closer now with only a 5-point deficit. Here's Chris Newsom. Newsom on the move, on the attack, working on Ginto. Anjo Karam with a 4-pointer. No dice. Panopio leading the charge here for the Blackwater Bossing. Tatsina right in front of him. Now feeding Bradwin Ginto, size advantage. They give it to Murel. He's got to move. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Asking for a pick here. 7 seconds left. Panopio gets the switch. Gets past Almazan, but what a recovery. Oh, but they get the ball back. Another miss. Here's Cancino. Will he have the last say? Cancino on the attack, and there's going to be a foul. And that'll be free throws regardless if it was a shot or not, because they are in the penalty. But we're going to find out if it's going to be 3 free throws or just 2.
Very smart of CJ Cancino to take that shot, and I think that's outside the 3-point line.
CJ Cancino will get 3 free throws. You're absolutely right, Coach. It was considered as a shooting foul, and unfortunately for him, unable to get that one to go.
But big block earlier by Raymond Almazan.
Huge.
I mean, Dolph Panopio thought he was already free for that layup. But Almazan, of course, one of the better shot blockers in the league, won't allow that open shot.
I was going to say, Coach, even if Raymond Almazan might not have the foot speed of a younger version of himself, he still has the ability to get the finish. And that'll be another turnover. And that means it will be a turnover because no one touched the ball. It will be at the baseline of the Meralco Bolts hoop.
That's just a terrible pass. I mean, the receiver wasn't even looking at the pass, and that's a fundamental mistake in basketball.
Well, you know what? If you get a 3 here, make a double-digit lead, it's going to be painful. Here's Maliksi, and he does just that. Oh my goodness! I called it literally.
Yes, nagdilang anghel ka, Paolo.
Wow!
And that's how huge that mistake was that Murel did.
Oh, and that's a 3. Definite 3. Out of on time. And what a swing here in the last few seconds for the Meralco Bolts. You can't let go for a second. And the Blackwater Bossing did. And all of a sudden, it's a double-digit disadvantage yet again. 84-74 in favor of the Meralco Bolts. Don't go away. We got a good one for you. We'll be right back.
Keeping you fresh throughout. It won't let you down. Let's start off with our first lookalike. May hinahanap tayo. Sino ba dito sa loob ng Smart Araneta Coliseum ang kamukha ng ating mga idol na PBA players? We're gonna start with an Alain Maliksi lookalike. Maghanap tayo ng mga favorite PBA players natin who are represented in the stands. Nasa na ang ating mga lookalikes? Yan, tingnan natin kung kamukha ni Alain Maliksi. Look up at the big screen, baka ikaw na. Hala, nakasuot ng cap. Kamukha ba talaga ni Alain Maliksi? You decide. Next up, kamukha ni Richard Escoto ba ng Blackwater Bossing? And finally, our last lookalike, ito kamukha ni Dalf Panopio ng Blackwater Bossing. Tingnan natin mga ka-PBA. Maraming salamat. This Twin Cam was brought to you by Rexona. It won't let you down.
Welcome back to the Big Dome. We got a good one for you here. 10-point lead for the Meralco Bolts, 84-74 against the Blackwater Bossing after what was a furious third quarter from Blackwater Bossing. It actually could have been just a one-possession ball game with around, 10 seconds left in the third quarter. But then a nice burst from the Meralco Bolts at the end of the third means it's a 10-point lead yet again. Hello, I'm Pablo De Rosado. Also, Coach Jude Roque and Spea Escudero joining us on the sidelines as we bring you Philippine Cup action here. Coach, the Meralco Bolts ended the third quarter on a high note. And if you're Blackwater, you're going to be hoping that this beefed-up lineup that they're starting the fourth quarter with will be good enough to get them back in the game.
Yes, so they had the lead cut down already from 22 to just 5. Unfortunately, some mistakes in the end gave that opportunity to Meralco to bring it back to 10.
Well, Cedric Barefield with a big basket. Again, he's up to 26 points in this one. Here's Aaron Black. Aaron, they go to the corner to Chris Newsom. New, back to Aaron. 4 seconds on the shot clock. He's got to go. He goes on the attack. Scoops it up. No good. Tapped away from behind by Murel. Panopio leading the charge here. Now it's Murel. He's attacking and he scores.
That's a good attack by Blackwater. The defense of Meralco not yet really set up. That's still considered transition basket.
And he went downhill, and he has great athleticism, talking about Murel, and that time showcased that. Switching defenses here for the Blackwater Bossing. Size advantage for Bates. He gives it to Hodge inside. Murel with a good rebound.
That's a sorry miss. That was a great play right there. High-low between Bates and Hodge.
Panopio on the Barefield. That's a 3-ball. Can't get that one to fall. Falls to Aaron Black. Apu tried complaining, saying that Bates held him down. Here's Aaron Black off the dribble. Now finding Maliksi. Maliksi against Barefield. That time Barefield was saying that he just got all ball. And it looks like he's protesting that call, but will Coach Jeff Cariaso use a challenge? And yes, he will. Though, I'm curious because sometimes the symbol or the hand sign of I want the challenge is just, that rectangle.
Box, yes.
The question is, if it's a bigger rectangle, does it mean he's more sure? Because that was a small rectangle from Coach Jeff Cariaso. But either way, head coach challenge coming right up. They are debating whether or not it is a foul on Cedric Barefield. And we're going to hear from our referees. And this will be the first time Coach Jude Roque will actually hear our referees live here at the Big Dome. And of course, you get to hear it too, the explanation. It's one of the newest rules here in PBA Season 50 that we get to hear from our officials. Let's take a look at that. And, that might be close, actually. Let's take a look at this again. So, Coach Jude, what is your expert opinion?
He got the arm. Yeah, the ball first and then the arm of Maliksi, which caused Maliksi to lose the ball. So, for me, it's a clear foul.
Okay. But let's see, because they have more angles than we do. And we're going to get to see it later on as well. Because I'm sure the fans are going to be like, what angle are you using? And we'll get to see what they have later on. As Coach Jeff Carriazo is just waiting for the call and reviewing his notes as well. Let's take a look at this again. This is a different angle. Well, you know what? From that angle, it looks like he may have gotten the ball. But we'll turn over to the floor.
After the review, there's no foul on Cedric Barefield. The call on the floor is overturned. The challenge made by the Blackwater is successful.
So Blackwater Bossing getting the successful challenge. We actually saw it in that last angle because in the other one that we saw, it looks like he got the arm first.
Yes.
But then from this angle and the angle we saw a while ago, we can see the ball pop out before the arm. So that will mean a jump ball.
Yes. So the referees, they have a lot of camera angles. I believe about 8.
Yeah.
No, so they could really see a lot of angles where the action is clearer.
All right, so back to the action here. The Meralco Bolts still get possession after winning the jump ball, but at least they avoid a foul on Cedric Barefield. Here's Chris Newsom. Hodge. Oh, and that's going to be a foul, a pull on Cedric Barefield after getting the mismatch with Brandon Bates.
So Meralco is going to keep going to display, you know, because of the mismatch with Barefield on Bates. So they're going to keep going to the mismatch here.
And here's the problem if you're the Blackwater Bossing, because Barefield now has 5 fouls, coach. 5 fouls and 26 points.
And there's still a lot of time in this game, so it's a big decision.
That's going to be an offensive foul. Or rather, no, a hold on the Panopio. Well, from our angle, at least watching it live, I felt that there was a call against Hodge, but then the referees with a better angle being closer, calling the pull on Del Panopio. Take a look at Cedric Barefield, by the way. I saw it flash just a while ago, 26 points. 5 fouls already in this game. That's going to be a big worry here for the Blackwater Bossing.
So this is just going to be a sideline inbound. Barefield already with 26 points. However, he's saddled with 5 fouls, so he's going to have to go back to the bench, at least for a few minutes, perhaps.
Especially if it's close towards the end game, that's when you want to have him. There's Aaron Black working against RK Ilagan. RK doing a good job containing him, though. Hodge doing everything he could to get the basket, but then that time, possession just ended. Escoto with the rebound.
Excellent defense by Escoto that time.
Panopio to Tratter. Tratter attacking Bates again. Taking it strong inside. That time Bates wins out. And Aaron Black gets the rebound. Aaron on the move here. They have the numbers. Oh, he read the Euro step perfectly.
Good defense by Dal Panopio. So 2 consecutive stops here for the Bossing that they can build on.
Dal Panopio, for spending time in Italy, he's very used to Euros. Here's Murel. RK Ilagan. Oh, that's a quick trigger 3. In, out, and again.
The shooter's bounce for RK Ilagan.
That was a quick trigger coming from RK.
And only a 3-point lead here for Meralco.
21 points for RK Ilagan already. Here's Chris Newsom trying to operate in the interior.
Nice.
Gets the basket and 1.
Beautiful up and under move that time from Chris Newsom.
You know, you take a look at the scorers here for the Meralco Bolts. They have 4 players in double-digit scoring in the current lineup that they have here. And yet, they are being hunted down by the Blackwater Bossing, who are only trailing by 5. The official suspension of play here. As It looks like they are just making sure that Chris Newsom is all set. And Brandon Bates is also getting a bit of attention here. Well, let's take a look at this again. When you have Chris Newsom, he's just so good at forcing the contact in the interior as well. That's a part of his game wherein, you know, he's now comfortable playing with his back to the basket as well.
And of course, Dav Panopio, not very familiar yet with the moves of Newsom.
And it looks like RK Lagan will check out as well. Here's Newsom. Gets that one to go. Let's turn it over to Bea Escudero.
Over in the Blackwater huddle, Coach Jeff Cariaso was visibly frustrated after that last-minute shot from Alain Maliksi to close the third quarter. He reminded his players that in those moments, they can't just stand and watch. They need to react. While heading to the fourth, he emphasized bringing better energy, getting defensive stops, and slowing things down on offense to let everyone settle into their spots. Meanwhile, for Meralco, the message was to stay locked in after a shaky stretch in the third that allowed Blackwater to trim the lead. They were also reminded to stick to their defensive schemes, read tendencies better, and match the energy on both ends of the floor. Gentlemen.
Thank you so much for that report. That was Bea Escudero. And of course, matching the defensive intensity that they saw in the second quarter. They haven't done that in the second half, to be completely frank, Coach. But then on the other end for Meralco, their frustration, at least Coach Jeff Cariaso's frustration, I think it was something that we expected after that last sequence. Timeout called on the floor here. When we return, 87-81 with 7:41 left in the fourth. Don't go away. Take a look at the Meralco Bolts. Cliff Hodge there on your screen against Rain or Shine. 16 rebounds, and Coach, one of the most active guys in general. When you take a look at Cliff Hodge, you know, he doesn't necessarily need to score. Scoring's a bonus for him, but what he gives you is this fight, this tenacity whenever he takes the floor for Meralco.
16 rebounds, that is truly huge. And of course, Meralco dominated the boards against Rain or Shine. They're dominating the boards right now against Blackwater, and Cliff Hodge is right in the middle of that dominance. That's how strong he is, and not only is he physically strong, he's very determined. He's so hardworking and aggressive and physical.
Of course, he's a nice guy.
Oh, he is. Very nice guy off the court.
Yes, he is. 87-81 here. Meralco trying to hold off a Blackwater team who has shown so much spunk in this second half. Here's Christian David. Handoff here as it is full motion coming for the Blackwater Bossing. Great look. The result not quite there. The question is, how long will they have their top scorers on the bench? Talking about Barefield, talking about RK Ilagan. Right now, it's going to be guys like Christian David who have to lead the charge here. They're going to be hoping that this lineup could keep in touch as Newsom unable to get the three ball to go, and they were battling hard for that rebound.
And this is very important. Blackwater is really getting defensive stops here, and open looks.
Come on, nothing there. And it is a 3-on-1 break. And Cliff Hodge couldn't finish, but there is Raymond Almazan.
Great trail by Raymond Almazan for that putback.
Now, if you're Blackwater, you can't let Meralco take control of the tempo of the game. And a miss there. Sorry, miss, as Brandon Guinto unable to get that to go as well.
And 2 sorry misses there for Blackwater.
They've had their opportunities, coach, but a basket here will make it a double-digit advantage yet again for Meralco. Second chance points, 12-5. Oh, what a basket from Aaron Black.
That's such a backbreaker, a big 3-point basket from Aaron Black. Makes this an 11-point advantage for the Bolts.
Well, Jeff Carriazo has seen enough because Cedric Barefield is set to come on in the next opportunity. Here's Christian David. David finding Cruz Dumont. Dumont, little bump, tough look. What a rebound though, coming from Escoto. That's what he's there to do. Escoto keeps it alive, hands it off to Del Panopio, and that's going to be a foul. And it'll be the first of Meralco here in the fourth quarter. They've done a better job at defending honestly here, talking about the Meralco Bolts.
Yes, clear foul on Cliff Hodge that time. And at this point, Coach Jeffrey Carriazo has no other choice but to field in his best 2 scorers as they have missed their last 2 possessions. And now RK and Barefield are back on the floor.
So it looks like the Panopio looks okay. Actually, Cliff Hodge looks worse for wear. Aaron Black goes back to the bench. Raymond Jose, Raymond Almazan, Elaine Marixi, Bong Quinto, and Chris Newsom, the 5 here for Coach Luigi Trillo. 11-point lead for Meralco. So what can Blackwater do here? RK Ilagan has it. Cedric Barefield. Big pick from Ginto. Almost loses it. RK Ilagan has it again. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Oh, that's a long 4. He saw the miss coming, and Brandon, and at that time, it was Quinto, Bong Quinto, coming away with the rebound. Chris Newsom, finding Bong Quinto. Maliksi, that's a wide open look, but misses everything.
He's claiming he got clipped there. But that was an open look for him and a great cross-court pass coming from Newsom.
So opportunity here for the Blackwater Bossing, but they got to move. Can they get Cedric Barefield going? Can they get RK going yet again? RK to Barefield. Barefield looking at his options. Bong Quinto right in front of him. Barefield goes on the attack. Lifts it up. No good. No good.
They've missed a lot of shots here in the last few possessions.
Here's Chris Newsom dictating traffic. Meralco looking more methodical in this possession. Bong Quinto. Working on Barefield. Barefield, 1 foul away from graduation. Chris Newsom, wide open, gets a 3-ball.
2 big 3-point shots coming from the guards of Meralco makes this a very comfortable lead.
Take a look at this again. Quinto attracting the double team, and Chris Newsom shooting over RK Ilagan. And right now it's 95-81 with Meralco firmly in charge. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still joining us here at the Big Dome, where the Meralco Bolts have started to take control here against the Blackwater Bossing. After what was a lackluster 3rd quarter, they have come up big in the 4th. And Aaron Black has had his crucial moments in this game so far. 11 points, 6 rebounds, and 50% from the field.
Truly a quality ball game by Aaron Black. He also hit this 3-point shot. That was huge. That was a backbreaker. He doused cold water on this rally by Blackwater, and he now helps to put more pressure on Blackwater in this 4th quarter.
A lot of pressure now on the Blackwater Bossing, who were so close. They were actually within a single possession at one point in the contest, but then they let go of the reins just a bit. It was actually very much in reach at the end of the 3rd quarter, except a few lapses towards the end, literally seconds only, and all of a sudden it's a double-digit lead.
And you know, one of the factors why they had that big run is that they were able to catch up in rebounding. They're only behind by 1 rebound right now. They were down by 11 in the first half.
Cedric Barefield's now up to 29 points after another 3-point basket. The question is right now, can they get a stop? Barefield being challenged here. Raymond Almazan with the reverse.
Again, the man of Raymond Almazan not aware where he is. He was right behind him, and that was an easy pass from Bong Quinto. And Bong Quinto is one of the best passers coming from the post.
Christian David, he can drain it. Not that time though. Raymond Almazan comes away with the rebound. And right now, time is running out for the Blackwater Bossing. They still have a bit of time, but at the moment they are on life support. Here's Bong Quinto again with Barefield right in front of him, playing with 5 fouls. Oh, that's a great turnover in favor of the Blackwater Bossing. Barefield on the move, gives it to David. That's a foul on the drive. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, we have seen a lot of great highlights from the Blackwater Bossing, and that would have been another good one had David finished it.
Well, good foul there to stop the layup, although there will be 2 free throws for David. This is the best time to make that comeback. They don't want to try to make that effort with less than 3 minutes in the game.
Oh, Christian David gets the first 2. And David gets the second. So right now, an 11-point lead here, still in favor of the Meralco Bolts. And don't be surprised if they hunt for Cedric Barefield again. Marose. He saw RK Ilagan and said, let me try and take him on. But then there's another turnover. Here's Blackwater. And there they are on the move. Roy Malilian will have 2 free throws.
A good try. First of all, good stop. But this is the way to do it. They gotta try to push that ball because there's not a lot of time now on the floor. So they gotta push that ball, try to get transition baskets, and this time they get 2 free throws.
This is that one though. Timeout called on the floor here. 11-point game as the Meralco Bolts will try to put a cherry on top of this potential victory. We'll be right back on Go. Let's take a look at Chris Newsom here and what he has done. 19 points in this game, and take a look at that efficient shooting. Finally, this is his first efficient day of the young season, and this is more like the Chris Newsom we are all familiar with, Coach.
Those are the numbers that we know that Chris Newsom can really come up with. And of course, the first 2 games were way below his averages, but in this game, he's really worked hard, and that produced great numbers for him. And one of the reasons why they still have this lead, despite that scare provided by Blackwater in the 3rd quarter.
So Malilian will try to make this a 10-point game. And again, we've seen stranger things happen. Like a while ago, it actually felt like it was only going to be a 1-possession ball game going into the 4th quarter. But then a few seconds later, that all changed. Here's RK Ilagan trying to contain Chris Newsom. Barefield against Quinto again, near the basket. Quinto will try his luck here. Finds Raymond Almazan, stretches the floor. That would have been a big 3. Abu Tratter with a good rebound. Here's Cedric Barefield. Trying to Build a bit of steam here. Working on Hodge. Takes it strong inside. 31 for Barefield.
Difficult shot by Barefield. There were two Bolts who tried to challenge his layup, but he still made it.
Here's Chris Newsome.
That's a foul.
That's a foul there, and that is actually a good time to foul considering you're not under the 2-minute mark and you had a couple fouls to get before in the penalty. So I think you have around 2 more at this point.
Yes, well, it's a tough matchup for RK, guarding Chris Newsome.
Oh, that's another good. Oh, what a finish. Alain Maliksi, that's vintage.
That's a big basket from Alain. Really gives more breathing room to the Bolts.
And that time, Abu Trator just lost the leather.
He forced
lost
it.
possession, yeah.
That was a forced move from Trator. There was nowhere to go to. Even the help defense was waiting for him.
Here's Newsome. Newsome against RK Lagan again. Oh, and almost a turnover. And Newsome had to jump over RK Lagan.
We forget Newsome is also very strong. If you put a smaller defender on him, he's gonna bully him. And that's exactly what happened there.
Here's Barefield working against Cliff Hodge. Barefield gives it to Lagan. Lagan back to Barefield. Playing a little give and go, and Barefield now with 34, giving Blackwater a bit of a pulse.
And what a return for said Barefield, who was gone for several months, but look at this performance from him.
Both Barefield and Ilagan together have 56 points. Here's Newsome, again, taking their time. Meralco are going to try and make sure they don't make any silly mistakes, and there's going to be a basket and one. Cliff Hodge, chance to convert here.
And that's a possible 3-point play. What again, a great read. Meralco is such an expert when posting up. Look at this. 2 passes right there. Leaves Hodge open under the basket for the reverse layup.
Cliff Hodge with a bonus free throw. 13 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Again, I mentioned a while ago that it's a bonus whenever Cliff Hodge contributes in scoring. But then when he does, it feels like he is a scorer. When you take a look at the numbers that he puts up.
And he's scoring because of his aggressiveness. He's just really active and grabbing those offensive boards and putbacks.
Well, that was a simple pick and roll that unfortunately Barefield could not convert from. But it looks like Coach Meralco are finally going to hit the win column here to give Blackwater their first loss as well. 50% record, 1-1 for the Blackwater Bossing. But we are seeing a lot of positive things here from both the Blackwater Bossing and the Meralco Bolts to suggest that they will be competitive here this conference, Coach.
Well, first of all, for Meralco, they were really determined to make a strong game after falling in 2 games. They don't want to go 0-3 after this game. So from the get-go, they were really aggressive. They clamped down on defense, and they were excellent in offense with a lot of those inside points in the beginning, and that really set the tone for this game. For Blackwater, they had great moments, slicing the 22-point deficit to only 5 at one point. So a lot of positives there. Even when the other scorers struggled, particularly Christian David, who really struggled in this game. But you can see that they have a lot of positives and potential.
You know, you see the pieces here as Jed Mendoza is going all the way for 2. You see the pieces here. You have Abu Trator, who has improved as a big man. You see them using Clifford Hopia more, especially in that first half. So they have the size to compete. At least just take a look at the bodies. Then you also have the talents of Barefield and RK Lagan in terms of scoring. And Delph Panovia is a promising rookie. The pieces are there. The question is, can they come together and be competitive this conference, Coach?
That's exactly right, Paolo. They just need time because, as you can see, they're pretty much a young team. No? They have a lot of potential, but they're young. So it's really the inexperience. So going up against, especially against a team like Meralco, which is a very experienced team, and a former Philippine Cup champion.
I didn't even mention Christian David, who is a stretch big here for the Blackwater Bossing, who also, on his day, can really put up the numbers. But right now, the Meralco Bolts are going to go and into the win column at an important time, considering that they are also going to be traveling for their continental basketball duties, and they have had arguably one of the hardest starts to the conference amongst the franchises here.
Indeed. No? So this is a motivating win for the Meralco Bolts. As you said, no, they're going to be traveling and competing in other leagues. So this is just a great baon for them.
Right now, 105-96, the final score here at the Big Dome as the Meralco Bolts enter the win column at the expense of the Blackwater Bossing. 105-96. What a show these two put on, especially that third quarter, and of course the security, the professionalism in the fourth. Best player of the game, Chris Newsom, who has broken his duck, became an efficient scorer. 6 of 9 from the field, 9 of 10 from the free throw line, and a cool +13 on the raw plus minus.
Well, his leadership was very visible in this game, both on offense and defense, and of course the 22 points, he top scores also for the Bolts today.
They were able to weather the storm. That was Cedric Barefield, RK Ilagan. They weathered the third quarter attack coming from the Blackwater Bossing, and they win 105-96 here at the Big Dome for our first game of this doubleheader. And for the Meralco Bolts, it is a sigh of relief, finally getting a win that they so craved for. And for the Blackwater Bossing, back to the drawing board. How do they avoid what was a second quarter collapse for them, and how can they stay competitive throughout the entire 48 minutes? In just a bit, we're going to hear from our own Bea Escudero and our best player of the game, Chris Newsom. And of course, he, I'm sure, has a lot to say when it comes to this team and what we can expect for them this conference. First time hearing Meralco Bolts player. Let's turn it over to Bea Escudero.
With a final score of 105-96, the Meralco Bolts finally get their first win of the conference, and I'm joined by the best player of the game, Chris Newsom, who did produce 22 points, 6 of 9 from the field, and 9 of 10 from the free throw line. Chris, congratulations. You know, after just shooting 28% from the field in your first 2 games, you finally bounced back big tonight, shooting 6 of 9 from the field, like what I mentioned. What adjustments did you personally make coming to this game?
It's all mental adjustments. You know, it's just trusting your work, trusting all the reps that you put into it. You know, you're going to have bad games, you're going to have bad shooting games, but it's about keeping that confidence in what you do. And also, I got to thank my teammates for having that confidence in me as well.
Chris, it also looked like everyone on the team was locked in and moving the ball very well, and also moving very well inside the paint. How did that collective effort help open up better shots for you?
I mean, we know how we have to play as a team. It's not just one person, but if we get multiple guys scoring, everybody in the right position on the court, we just go with what the defense gives us, and that opens up my shots and shots for everybody else. So that's how we play basketball.
Chris, before I let you go, do you have anybody to thank or greet?
Yeah, I want to thank all the Meralco Bolts fans out there for coming out today, my family that's watching, and Ilocos in the States, and of course my wife that's over there as well.
All right, once again, that was our best player of the game, Chris Newsom of the Meralco Bolts. Now let's turn it over to the post-game press conference with our winning coach.
After being down 0-2, the Meralco Bolts finally get their first win of the Philippine Cup. Good evening and welcome to our post-game press conference. I'm joined by our winning coach, Coach Luigi Trillo. Congratulations, Coach. First win officially as well in the bag. What does it mean to you and the Bolts to finally break through that 0-2 hurdle, considering that you also have a tough stretch of games ahead?
Yeah, well, I think we did enough in the first half to get a lead. We had a little bit of a meltdown there in the third quarter where, you know, Blackwater got going offensively. You know, Barefield had 11 points in that first quarter. He carried the load for them. I think he ended up with 34. So we did enough to win the game, but you have to credit also Blackwater for being resilient and, you know, getting the lead down to about 6 points. We did a decent job with, you know, they're a handful now with Panopio and David and Barefield. So we kind of managed David and Panopio, but Barefield was hard to stop today.
Well, the fall meets the fire, and for the fallen, they have risen. The Meralco Bolts come up with a win, 105-96. Let's take a look at the highlights here. First off, in the first quarter, guys like Cliff Hodge started to show us what the Meralco Bolts could do. It was a great start for Meralco, Coach.
Very good start for Meralco. They really attacked the paint. They had a lot of inside points. Of course, very sound strategy, knowing that they have a lot of bigs that can finish. Even Bong Quinto can score inside.
Well, Cedric Barefield made his return today after missing 3 months, I believe, of PBA basketball. And what a return, 34 points, Coach. And I think when we take a look at just pure scorers and offensive firepower, this guy is up there at the top of the PBA.
Well, definitely. Cedric Barefield is a scoring machine, and he showed that today. He even had a lot of tough shots, a lot of outside shots with a stretched arm right in front of him, but it didn't matter because he was even able to make those baskets.
Well, in the second quarter, we had to show that for sure. Raymar Jose, Toto Jose, hitting a step-back three like he practices every single day. But again, another highlight coming from Cedric Barefield. 34 points here for Blackwater Bossing in the loss. Of course, he had a fantastic showing here. But here in the second quarter, Coach, this is where the Meralco Bolts really took control of the game with a 32-15 quarter under their name.
They dominated the boards. A lot of baskets like those under the basket. A lot of offensive rebounds as well. They definitely out-rebounded Blackwater in the first half.
It was so one-sided going to the third quarter, but this is where everything changed. RK Ilagan was a man on fire in the third quarter. Take a look at this. Step back, long-range bomb. That was a 4. And they went on a 15-2 run in the third quarter, Coach. And guys like RK Ilagan to Abu Tratter getting it done. It felt like this was a team that, you know, their potential, we just saw it in quarter number 3.
They had a great rhythm to start that third quarter. Imagine cutting down the 22-point lead in just a few minutes. And they also battled out off the boards, with Meralco.
But this was a painful shot, Coach. Alain Maliksi with the basket there. We called it that it would be painful if he got a 3 after that little snafu towards the end of the third. But here we are in the fourth quarter, and guys like Chris Newsom and their veteran crew just took over and showed Blackwater what it means to win professionally.
Yes, right there you can see the lead was down to 3. That was the closest that Blackwater came in this game. But immediately, the Bolts went to the post, used their mismatches, and it's a place like this that slowly built that lead again.
It was really that second unit, Coach, that the Meralco Bolts leaned on to increase their lead yet again. And when it was the time for Barefield to come in, as well as RK Ilagan, there was just too much to overcome. As we take a look at this shot here from Cliff Hodge to practically ice the ball game, Coach.
Yes, a lot of plays like this, especially in the fourth quarter, they went almost exclusively to the post with their guards like Newsom and Quinto. And plays like this really sealed the game for Meralco.
Well, they hammered it over and over again, and that is the first win of the Meralco Bolts in the conference. They are now 1 of 2, and they needed that one. And of course, up next, we got a big one here for you. The Tropang 5G take on Barangay Ginebra San Miguel, who are still looking to find their rhythm here in this conference as well. And thank you so much for joining us here for game number 1. The Meralco Bolts taking the win over the Blackwater Bossing. I'm Paulo Del Rosario alongside Coach Jude Roque. It was Bea Escudero joining us on the sidelines, and we will see you again for the next game days.